180, not a big guy by Big Sky standards, but he's extremely accurate, completing 60% of his throws for 3 touchdowns last week. Struggles in the running game, very dependent on this guy's arm.
Yeah, about 200 yards a game through the air so far for the Bulldogs. Now for Montana State defensively, what an outstanding performance last week by the walk-on freshman from Billings Central against Washington State.
Right, Coach Ash referred to Alexei Grozlak this week as the most pleasant surprise of this young season. The redshirt freshman has been tremendous. A great game last week at Washington State, sack, interception, performance that was good enough to earn him Big Sky Player of the Week, defensive.
All right, so Montana State and Drake about set to go. Now for the keys to the game, let's go down on the field and join A.J. Donatoni.
Hello to you, Chris and Mike up there in the booth. Welcome down to the field here at Bobcat Stadium. About 55 degrees right now. Sunny for the time being. Rain in the forecast, though. We'll see what happens. A wait-and-see approach for now. The keys to the game for Montana State versus Drake will start with the visiting Bulldogs and right away pressure the quarterback. We saw last week against Washington State, Denarius McGee in only his second college start got a lot of pressure put on him. He put 3 interceptions up in the 4th quarter. That's something that Drake can take advantage of with Dane Taylor, one of the best defensive linemen in the country. Secondly, make sure that if you're Drake, you utilize the J-back. The J-back is something I've never heard of. In my 22 years of watching college football, I had never heard of it. Basically what it is Steve Platek for the Bulldogs, who will split between running the football and catching the ball out of the wide receiver position. That's someone the Bulldogs need to get involved. And finally, know your enemy. There are several coaches on this Drake staff who coached under Rob Ash when Ash was there at Drake for 18 years. Maybe they know some of his tendencies. Maybe they can exploit some of those. If Drake wants to stay around in this game, that's one way they could do it. Now for the 22nd ranked Bobcats of Montana State, and right off the bat, control the trenches. This goes back to Drake being able to pressure the quarterback with 2 guys, Dane Taylor and Josh Walkup, both very good defensive linemen who are able to rush the quarterback. Montana State has to be able to protect McGee today, make sure they keep those guys out of harm's way. The second key for Montana State is to look in the mirror. That's one of the things I forgot on a second key. I had to check my notes. Look in the mirror, because Drake utilizes an offense that's very similar to the Cats. It's one of those high tempo, very no huddle kind of situations where Drake's going to try to rush to the line of scrimmage and get the plays off quickly. They like to go quick, but the Cats have seen this in practice, so that's something they should be able to be used to. Finally, the third key, have the killer instinct. Make sure you can go for the kill and step on the throat of Drake when you need to. Again, we hate to harp on last week, but a 15-point lead going into the 4th quarter, the Cats couldn't hold it. This week, if they get ahead of Drake early, they have to make sure that they can step on their throat, bury them early, put up as many points as you can early on, and get under control of this game. Those are your keys to the game for Montana State versus Drake. Keep it right here, because coming up right after the break, we will have the opening kickoff on Bobcat Game Day.
And welcome back to a beautiful afternoon here in the Gallatin Valley. As take a look at the coaches for today's game. Chris Creighton, his 14th season, 110 wins against 33 losses. Rob Ash, of course, now in his 31st season of coaching, 197 wins, as these 2 teams are set to go today. Second meeting between the 2. Drake won the first meeting. And Montana State out on the field. They'll receive the football to start this afternoon's game. Take a look at the conditions for today's game. Very comfortable, 68 degrees. Mostly cloudy. Some afternoon thunder showers expected a bit later this afternoon, but for right now, it's sunny skies on a beautiful early fall afternoon in the Gallatin Valley. Officials for today's game: Tom Frazier's the referee, Roger Stewart the umpire, and Glenn Hepner is the head linesman. So Rich Rasmussen is on to get things started. He'll kick off. Montana State receiving. Everett Gilbert standing back on his 5-yard line. And this game is underway. Short kick coming down to the 15. And up over the 20-yard line, and still on his feet is Lorenzo Davis, who's brought down just inside the 30-yard line. And Montana State with excellent field position to start today's game.
Did not take Lorenzo Davis long to show us that he's a little bit slippery out there. Short kickoff and some great moves to keep that play alive and get it up the field.
Here's the starting offense for Montana State. Very talented group of wide receivers. Davis gets the start at running back today. Kyle Beggar's the tight end. up front, it's the big guys. Alex Terrian at center. Casey Dennehy filling in for Conrad Burbank at left guard today. And of course, Denarius McGee starting at quarterback for Montana State. So first play from scrimmage, McGee up under center, gives to Davis. Davis tries the left side, and he's wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage, falls forward. Maybe a gain of 1 on the play, and one of the strengths of this Drake team, Mike, is their defense. Very active.
Yeah, we saw it right there, and we're going to see as they bring the starters up here.
Montana State quickly with the no-huddle offense. There's the secondary for the Bulldogs. 2nd and 9, they swing it out, and that ball is complete and close to a first down. And the Bobcats come out throwing on 2nd down as they get it out there to Elvis Akpla. And Akpla close to a first down. Nelson, Morrison, and Moorhead, the linebacking core for the Bulldogs. John Sawhill, Taylor, Witkowitz, and Aspel, the defensive line in the 4-3 alignment. So a first down for Montana State from the 40-yard line. Opening drive first quarter just underway from Bobcat Stadium. McGee stays under center. The give to Davis. Davis has some room on the left side up near midfield. Spins away from a tackle and down inside Drake territory. Great run by Lorenzo Davis and a first down for Montana State.
Montana State again comes out, starts the game in a too tight situation, but look at the blocking here on this play as number 72 Person gets out in front of this thing, and they're just following him upfield. A great job from the 26th consecutive start today for Person, and you can see why he is invaluable to that Bobcat offense.
3 receivers set for the Bobcats now from the 42 and a first down. Here's McGee rolling right, now looks and fires out there, and that's complete. And close to another first down. That time he goes to the tight end, Kyle Beggar, the senior from Miles City.
Well, Kyle Beggar, that's his 8th reception of the year, and he just does an amazing job. I say it week after week, but I don't know how they lose these big guys out there every week. But Bobcat tight ends have just done an outstanding job throughout the years of presenting that big target. And boy, I tell you, when you're Denarius McGee and you see that big boy out there all by himself, you're pretty confident you can make that throw.
Gain of 9 on the play, sets up a 2nd and 1 from the 33. Single back formation as McGee looks, now pulls it down, rolls to his left, and fumbles the football. And it looks like Montana State recovered at the 38-yard line. McGee run down in the backfield.
Well, that was number 95 for the Drake defense. That is Dane Taylor. He is their All-American defensive end coming off a year. And look at the speed that he shows on this play. Denarius has not been run down by anybody, and that includes at Pac-10 Washington State. So they've got some weapons. Montana State very fortunate to get that ball.
Not only did Taylor run him down, but he had the presence to take a whack at that football and break it loose. So 3rd and 5 now as McGee tries to throw, loses the football. They're going to call incomplete pass. So they say his arm was coming forward. And the Bulldogs, after giving up some big yardage, shutting down the Bobcats here. And
yeah, a couple. You always wonder, and Denarius McGee, we've talked about him, young guy, and Davis, how these guys were going to bounce back. Not the best 4th quarter for them last week. Let's see if they can get it turned around early here.
Well, this is going to be a 55-yard field goal attempt from the left hash, and now Drake calls a timeout. They didn't have the right amount of players on the field, so Bobcats came in and tried to line up for the field goal quickly. Drake calls the timeout. The spot of the ball would be at the 45, so it'd be a 55-yard field goal attempt for Cunningham. Well, we know he's got the leg for it. He's already 5th all-time as Montana State field goals, and he's hit 4 of 5 this year.
Well, I think one of the reasons for the timeout here was Coach Creighton wanted to get another piece of our referee today because I don't think he agreed with that call, and I think I would have to say that he was correct. I don't think that ball or the arm was actually going for it. He lost it on the way back. Probably should have been a rule to fumble on the field. Well, it was early miscues for Denarius so far.
It was a quick whistle, ruled an incomplete pass. You see some of the Drake fans that made the trip to Bozeman this afternoon, and Coach Creighton having a few words here. But at any rate, Montana State will line up for the 55-yard field goal attempt from Jason Cunningham. opening drive for Montana State.
Well, this would be a new long for his career. Longest to date is the 52-yarder, and this one looks to have plenty of distance, Chris.
And that kick is good. So Jason Cunningham from 55 yards out puts the Bobcats on the board. They take the 3-0 lead with 12:14 to go here in this opening quarter. And we'll be back after this 3-0 in this opening quarter.
Well, Chris, I think we just got a little hiccup there. That's the play that we should have been running the last play at Wazoo last weekend.
Cunningham will stay on to kick things off here. Drake will receive the ball for the first time. Mosier and Lahart back to take the kick. And this one comes down right at the goal line. Brought out up over the 20, some running room to the 30, to the 35. Man, the Drake Bulldogs will get excellent field position. Nice run back by Michael Lahart, the senior out of Iowa. Left hash, perfect snap, good spot, great results.
Here it is. You're just witnessing again. That is the longest field goal in Cunningham's career and the third longest in MSU history at 55 yards.
So Drake has the football for the first time from the 36-yard line. Piatkowski lines up under center, single back formation. Stay on the ground, left side, nothing doing there. That play shut down as Tom Kostick, the running back. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for Drake, brought to you by Montana Lottery's Fantasy Sports Games. Winners happen. And there's the wide receivers and running backs that'll start for the Bulldogs this afternoon. Tom Kostick, you just saw in the first play there. Up front, it's Lawrence Clinton, Chris Wilson, Stephen Flynn, and Prudhomme, the sophomore. Up front, whistle on the field, and now play will resume. 2nd and 12, loss of 2 on the play. And there's the numbers on Piatkowski. 35 of 59 for the season. 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, averaging 200 yards a game through the air through the first 2 games of the season. 2nd and 12. Out of the gun, Piatkowski looks left, throws, nobody there, incomplete. Sets up 3rd down, looked like a broken play. As we take a look at the Montana State defense this afternoon, there's the big guys up front, D'Alba, John Ledette, Ogden, and Dustin O'Connell. The linebacking core, Alexi Grosselak, the freshman, Clay Bignell, and Jody Owens. And in the backfield today, it's Darius Jones and Arnold Brings at the corners. Jordan Craney and Michael Ryder are the safeties. Chris Creighton, head coach for the Bulldogs, has his team staring at a 3rd and 12. 4 receiver set for the Bulldogs. Piatkowski operates out of the gun now, flips out to his left, and this one is well defended, incomplete pass, brings up 4th down. Good job out there for Montana State in single coverage.
Yeah, you've got your boundary corner, number 26, Arnold Briggs. Looks like he's a little bit deep. He's given up a step here, but he's in the right place, right between the ball and the man. Didn't get a chance to look that time, but was able to effectively use the back of his head, Chris, to break that one up.
Well, and no contact, which is the key there, because had he made contact without looking back, could have got flagged for interference. So Rasmus is in to kick it away. Back to receive is Elvis Akpla. Akpla fields it inside the 25, now spins out, comes up over the 25 to the 30. And the Bobcats with good field position, leading 3-0 here in the first quarter. We'll be back after these words from your local stations.
I tell them not to worry if they wake up and smell something burning. It's just desire.
Remington Core-Lock, the most reliable deer ammo in the woods.
Customer service. I'm huge about customer service, and Timber Roofing has great customer service. I was sold on the peace of mind that he sold me, that I would have, you know, the guarantee of if something happens to the roof in the next 25 years, it is covered. I mean, and that alone, as a single mom, and not being able to afford a roof again. And
Back in Bozeman, where Montana State goes back to work on offense for the second time this afternoon, leading 3-0. There's the numbers for Denarius McGee. 458 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, those coming against Washington State last week. They'll stay on the ground to Davis. Shakes away from one tackler, now up near midfield, keeps his feet moving to the 40-yard line. Wow, what a big run by Davis, all the way down inside the 40-yard line.
I think you can see here from this run, if you can watch on the inside here, you're going to get an inside pull from the right guard, Ben Ta'anu'u, that really leads Davis up into the hole and frees him up to make that big run. See here, Ta'anu'u, 62, pulls across and leads him up and gets that kick out, and boy, that's a huge seam right there for any running back.
First down from the 41. They'll stay on the ground again. This time Davis is wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage. Good hit out there by David Wickowitz to make the stop. Well, Davis comes in as the leading rusher for Montana State. 44 today, 152 coming in, 5.8 yards a carry on his average coming in, so he's been very productive when he's gotten the football.
He has, and he's sort of separated himself from what was really that Bobcat logjam that we had at the beginning of the season with Cody Kirk getting the start. Still seeing plenty of action, but I think we're going to see more and more of this young man, Lorenzo Davis.
This time they flip it out to Gilbert. Gilbert with the catch at the 40. Stiff arms one tackler down to the 35-yard line, brings up 3rd and short. Well, it was running back by committee in that first game. As you mentioned, Cody Kirk was named the opening day starter, but they've used C.J. Palmer, they've used Davis, they've used Kirk, so they've got plenty of guys back there that can run. Let's pick up the call.
Personal foul, face mask, number 23 defense, 15 yards spot of the foul, first down.
That'll be an automatic first down, and that'll move the ball inside the 25 all the way down to the 20-yard line.
Here we see Gilbert just gets it out here in the flat. Mosier comes up, and I think it's right at the end of this run. Yeah, we can't really see it from that angle, but he did. Usually, when you see that head come down so quick like that, it's a good indicator that that defender has got a piece of the mask.
1st and 10 from the 20. Davis gets to the edge outside, now cuts up inside the 10 all the way down to the 5-yard line. And another big run for Davis, and that sets up 1st and goal.
Well, just a great job inside by these linemen, getting bodies on bodies. You can see Terrian pulls out in front. Everybody is covered there, and then you just let the running back go to work. We mentioned that this Drake team has been very good against the rush. They're allowing only 69 yards per contest, just about 2 yards per carry. So surprising and I think promising from the Bobcat side that they've been able to exploit that rush defense already today.
So here's Davis running behind D'Alba, makes a move right at the line of scrimmage, falls forward, maybe picks up 1 on the play. Let's go down below and join A.J. Donatoni.
Guys, Lorenzo Davis running wild here in the first quarter. When he was named the starter, we in the press talked to him earlier in the week, said, what sets you apart? Why do you think the coaches are giving you more carries? And he's a simple guy. He said, I don't know, speed, I guess. But right now, Lorenzo's speed really working well. These guys are on the doorstep scoring first. Guys.
Thanks, A.J. And, of course, Lorenzo, very impressive last week against Washington State.
Please reset the clock to 8 minutes, 55 seconds, 8:55.
They're going to reset this clock after the penalty. Just a silly personal foul that time. They had number 45, Jason D'Alba, the defensive tackle, was in at the lead back to try and give him some more beef. He just got into a little shoving match after the whistle and really sets the Bobcats back here, clear to the 20-yard line.
2nd and goal from the 20. And McGee finds Tanner Bleskin at the 15. That's a gain of 5 on the play. So they get 5 of it back, and that sets up 3rd and goal. Yeah, you're right in the knocking on the door for a touchdown, and you get the personal foul, backs them all the way to the 20-yard line. And Drake's had a couple of breaks here in this opening quarter.
Well, you know, you flash back to that second turnover at Washington State where the Bobcats make a great throw and catch. They're down inside the 5-yard line, and we get a personal foul after the play on that one or near the end of the play. You just can't make those mistakes in the red zone particularly.
Here's McGee now operating out of the gun. Looks left, fires across the middle, and this one broken up right at the goal line. incomplete pass, and great coverage back there by Michael Lahart. As he knocks the ball down, they were trying to get it to Boston.
You'll see it here. One of the seniors in this Drake defense just makes a great play on the ball, gets that arm in front, limits the contact. That's just good defense, Chris.
Going to set up a Jason Cunningham field goal attempt. Spot of the ball will be at the 22, so a 32-yard attempt. Cunningham already has one today. Paluska to hold. Kick on the way. Plenty of distance. And right through the upright. So with 8:23 to go in the opening quarter, 2 Jason Cunningham field goals ups the lead to 8-6, Montana State.
Hey, you know what's smart? What's that?
Now 2 for 2 in the field goal department. Mosier and Michael Lahart are back to receive the Cunningham kick. Drake's got to feel a little bit lucky right now, as this could easily be a 14-0 game or 10-0.
Very easily could.
Yep. This one sails back deep into the end zone, and they'll take a knee as Mosier elects to down it. He'll come out to the 20-yard line, and that's where Drake will have the football. When we talked about their running problems coming into this game, averaging just 50 yards a game, and that's tough sailing when you play a team like Montana State, when you've got to rely so much on throwing the football. The Bobcats, as we know, have a great defense, very active, so it'll be tough for them to generate offense today.
Well, particularly in light of the fact that, at least so far, they've shown an inability to really protect Piatkowski in that pocket as well. They gave up 11 sacks coming into today, and you've got a hungry defensive line at Montana State that really has, while they played extremely well the first 2 outings, they haven't really had opportunities to stat up and get those sacks, those tackles for loss.
Movement everywhere. The Bobcats are saying it's going to be against Drake. And they'll sort it out down on the field, and we'll get the call. Well, they say maybe some showers a bit later today, but I'll tell you what, partner, it's pretty nice right now.
Boy, it is absolutely beautiful. Another beautiful day down here in Bozeman for us this season. You got the fans, they're still coming in over there from the student section.
Defense, offside, in the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
I think that you can pick this up as we take another look at it. I think it is Dan Ogden that, you just see him come across, raring to go, can't quite get back in time. And that's going to be the one that cost MSU 5 yards. MSU comes into this game with only 9 penalties, the least, 5 penalties, the least in the Big Sky by a mile, but 2 costly ones already today.
Here's a pass on first down, incomplete. Got a wide open receiver out there intended for Hohenstein. He can't hang on to it, so that'll bring up second down.
Well, they go to their big target here. Hohenstein, he's open in the flat, just tries to turn and run before he quite pulls this one in, and almost a big play as that goes up in the air. Boundary corner Arnold Briggs was about very close to getting a pick on that one.
2nd and 5 from the 25. Now the Bobcats show blitz. Now they back off, and here they come. Pass out there in the flat is caught, and a first down catch up over the 30-yard line. Stephen Platek with the catch and the run, and that's good for a first down as they spot it to the 32. Nothing fancy there. The blitz was coming up the middle. They flipped it outside and got the first down.
Yeah, let's take a look. He gets the ball out quickly to avoid that sack, and here we're finding out what a J-back does, huh? Right out there in the flat. He lines up in the backfield and ends up being one of their leading receivers.
Caustic short yardage gain. Well, for those of you that don't know much about Drake and its program, they play in the Pioneer Conference. It's a non-scholarship conference, which makes it very difficult to compete in the FCS. Piatkowski now throws out here and has a wide open receiver at the 45-yard line. Catch is made by Ben Sable, the tight end, and that's another first down for the Bulldogs.
Well, again, an impressive effort here at quarterback. Feels the pressure and is able to get that thing out on time, hit his big target, and another first down. As you say, Chris, they are moving the chains here early in this drive.
Good looking drive here. They'll stay on the ground, try to run it, nothing doing there. As Montana State able to shut that one down immediately. Jody Owens gets the stop for Montana State. No gain, 2nd and 10 from the 43. We talked to some of the Drake folks that were here earlier this morning, and they said one of the criteria for making the FCS, they have to beat at least 2 teams on their schedule that come out of conferences that have automatic qualifiers. They only play 2. Lehigh, Montana State already lost to Lehigh, so effectively, regardless of how they do the rest of the season, they won't get into the postseason.
Right, sort of a tough deal, but really you're 2 games in and all of a sudden you're not, playoffs are out of the picture and you're playing for a conference championship.
Well, another good catch here by Hohenstein as he holds onto the ball, takes a pretty good shot at the end of the play.
Yeah, nice job driving up, delivering with the shoulder, not the top of the hat. That's Jordan Craney. Hey, those Bobcat safeties have really amped it up this year. They are coming up and playing much more aggressively and delivering some great shots, making those guys pay the price for catching that football.
3rd and 1 now, just short of the first down. Piatkowski now changing the play. He's got Kostick in the backfield now, throws the slant pattern and incomplete. And a late flag comes in as Darius Jones was in coverage. We got a late flag at the 35.
Well, this flag comes in from about 30 yards behind the play. A lot of contact there, but you know, from our angle, it looked pretty clean. The referee behind it, really, that throws his flag as he comes in, he probably had the worst view on the field of that play. Not to say that it was the incorrect call.
Defense on an eligible receiver. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
All right, so holding is the call. It did look like Jones got in there before the ball arrived, but they're going to flag him for holding, so it's a first down from the 32. Head coach Rob Ash said he had mixed emotions about this game this week. Now everybody moving again. People shoving and pushing, and we'll see if it's a false start or if this will go against Montana State.
Well, it looks like this one
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
is going to go against them, so the Cats will get a little bit of an opportunity to move them back into long yardage as they try and put an end to this, what has been a really impressive drive thus far for Drake.
1st and 15 from the 37. And the quarterback just took a knee. Not quite sure what was going on there. The Bobcats are saying this is...
Well, I think Piatkowski saw the Bobcat defender come across on the top of the line and thought that he could just kneel down and catch him for that quick 5-yarder, but obviously that didn't work out, and they're going to mark it off where he dropped his knee, and it'll be 2nd and long.
Well, now it's 1st and 20 as they're all the way back to the 42-yard line. Four receivers set. Piatkowski rolls left, looks right, has some running room, but flips it out there for Kostick, who makes the catch at the 30. Well, he could have done a couple of different things there. He had plenty of running room if he chose to carry the ball, but completes the pass, and a good gain to Tom Kostick.
Yeah, you can see Dustin O'Connell makes an inside rush move, but doesn't get there. So that opens up a lot of room, and both those options, as you said, Chris, were available to Piatkowski. Got the ball upfield to his running back and brings him into a little bit more reasonable situation at 3rd and 8.
From the 30-yard line, 3rd and 8, 5 minutes to go, opening quarter. Piatkowski looks to his right, has a man at the 25 of the first down, still on his feet, down to the 15-yard line as Hohenstein makes the catch. He's been active today,
yeah,
and that is a huge first down.
A lot of action for these tight ends here, but I think that the important thing is we see Piatkowski getting the ball out on time for these short routes, and he's just delivering the ball and counting on his receivers to go make a play.
Kostick takes a shot inside the 10. And again, flags fly. Kostick got down close to the 7-yard line. And we'll see what the call is.
An illegal substitution, number 49 of the defense. Holding, number 3 of the offense. Both penalties will offset. Replay.
Well, we're going to get a do-over there. I didn't see the substitution infraction, but I did see they caught Orlando with the grab on the outside here. But the Bobcat defense, we're seeing a lot of mistakes early on, and they've got to clean this thing up if they're going to keep Drake out of the end zone on this drive.
First down from the 15-yard line as they replay the down on the offsetting penalties. Piatkowski looks over to the side now to get the call. Kostick in the backfield. 3 receivers set to the left. Hohenstein to the right. Here's the throw. Caught right at the 10-yard line. And again, good safe play as they make the pass to Playtech. He just sat down in the zone, squared the body up, got in front of the defender, and makes the catch. Second down now. Quick offensive set here, and another flag comes into the end zone as Kostick got the carry, took it down to the 8-yard line, but we'll see what the flag is. Came all the way in the back of the end zone.
Well, they were
illegal substitution on the defense, half the distance to goal, still second down.
Interesting, that's the second call on Montana State in this drive here for an illegal substitution.
Well, we talked about MSU when AJ talked about looking in the mirror and this no huddle offense, but so far it looks like the no huddle has caught MSU by surprise, at least on those 2 occasions in their substitution efforts. But also on that last play, they just flat got off the ball before the MSU defense was prepared.
So a 2nd and 1 from the 6. Piatkowski looks into the end zone. Still looking now, throws incomplete. Bobcats want intentional grounding. But outside the area, right, where you can throw the ball away.
Right. You can see Piatkowski gets pressure here on his right side, steps out of the pocket. Ledette is coming up hard. Does a good job of really recognizing that he's cleared the inside tackle area and can throw that ball away. Even there was no receiver anywhere near him. It's still a legal play, and they're not going to get the grounding call on that one.
3rd and 1 from the 6. Playtech goes in motion. Kostick the ball, tries to bounce to the outside, falls forward. Oh, I think he's a half a yard short. You can see where they come in, the linesman, to mark the ball, and it looks like he's just short of the 5.
Yeah, they're definitely going to spot that short of the line. It's going to be close here. Here, see a good job by the front. Owens comes up and fills. Ryder's filling. D'Alba, all the backers are there. Just a good job across the front. We're going to get a 4th and 1.
Yeah, 4th down, and they're lining up to go for it. Now he looks back to the sidelines for the call. Piatkowski up under center, calls his own number, and he's got a 1st down, I believe, as he falls forward inside the 5.
Yeah, just a nice job by the junior quarterback on that. He spreads him out a little bit, and just as you can see, just takes his snap and sort of feels his way through that right side, looking for the hole. Gets a good push up front by what is a very big offensive line for Drake. They run 6'5", 307 across the front, Chris.
It's a big boy to run behind. 1st and goal from the 3. As the Bulldogs look to get on the scoreboard here, trailing 6-0 in the 1st quarter. Piatkowski has Cashmore in the backfield and now calls a timeout. So he didn't like what he saw. And he'll take a timeout with 2:32 to go in the opening quarter. If they can get a touchdown here.
They're 2nd and a half.
What a momentum changer that would be, with Montana State really dominating on offense, but yet just leading by a couple of field goals, and the Bulldogs now with a chance to take the lead.
Well, I keep going back to last week, but there's so many similarities here early on. Bobcats get 2 great scoring opportunities to start the thing out, end up settling for field goals. One as a direct result of a really a silly penalty, and now this drive is just, you talked in the open about a killer instinct, but right now that Drake offense is operating with a great deal of confidence.
All right, let's go down below and join AJ Donatoni.
Chris and Mike, you guys have been talking about on this drive, Drake has been able to move the ball very well, and a couple ugly penalties for Montana State. I talked to Coach Asher week. He said he knew he was expecting this offense, this no-huddle, high-tempo paced offense that the Cats run themselves, and that the Cats should have been ready for it coming right out of the gate. But so far on the second possession here, Drake has been able to move the ball down the field very well, and right now they're knocking on the doorstep, just converting on that 4th and 1. Guys?
All right, thanks, AJ. So Drake and the Bobcats back on the field, 1st and goal from the 3. Cashmore is in the backfield, along with Playtech, who's in the slot. Up under center, Cashmore the carry, tries to bounce to the outside. He's wrapped up and taken down for a loss. And nothing doing that time for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, big hit, big push by the right side of the defensive front for MSU. You see Alba there stuffing it down, Ledette on the outside. Good run fill by Lexi Grozlak. That's just great team defense. Everybody filling their run gap.
Well, they're number 1 in the Big Sky in scoring defense, and you see a big reason for that now. I don't know if anyone even got the tackle. They just simply pushed him back into his own man and taken down for a 1-yard loss. 2nd and goal from the 4. They throw the fade route into the end zone, and this is intercepted in the back of the end zone. Wow, what a play by Arnold Briggs. Goes up with one hand and pulls down the INT.
That is a beautiful play. You talk about Pietkowski may go to the well with this tight end just once too often on this play. He's got him out here, but look at that extension and the ability to pull that in. That is a great catch. Maintains possession when he goes down here. And boy, saves the bacon for MSU.
I mean, that's just pure athleticism right there. I mean, come on. Climbing the fence. We've got a flag down on the field. Kind of used to seeing that, and there he is.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 23 and number 18, excessive celebration, half the distance to goal, 1st down.
Boy, it has been a lot of laundry on the field today, and they're going to call Briggs for excessive celebration.
Well, here, let's take a look at the actions that led to the penalty, and I'm not sure. Yeah, that's just that's a little too much.
I think Briggs knew it too, as he stopped immediately, started to celebrate. He stopped, but too late. So
those DBs aren't used. You make a play like that,
well, yeah.
You should be. There should be an exception to the rule. You should be able to celebrate a little bit.
Here's McGee going deep for Bluskin at the 45, just out of the reach of Tanner Bluskin, the freshman from Great Falls CMR, 2nd down.
Oh, I like the call. 1st and 10 at your own 10, and you're going to take one over the top. Pretty aggressive. But, you know, Coach Ash talked last week when they questioned some of their decision-making in the Washington State game. He said, hey, we want to be aggressive. We want to be aggressive now because that's what we're going to have to do to be effective against the better teams in our league.
All right, everyone pulled left on that play. Davis tried to run behind the line, but again, a good job defensively for the Bulldogs. We'll set up 3rd and long. And let's take a look. Everyone going left, and Davis tries to cut back, but sealed in nicely. Good open field tackle.
A nice job of number 58 on defense that time. That's going to be Witkowitz at the nose. Just made a good job of staying home and taking care of his job.
Yeah, and McGee now fires out to the 25 on a 1st down. So the Bobcats go to the big tight end, Kyle Beggar, and that's enough to move the chains in a 1st down.
Well, Kyle Beggar with a couple of receptions already today. None bigger than this to get the 1st down and hey, get that defense off the field. They got to get over on that sideline and regroup a little bit, but just a great throw and a catch for the 1st down.
Quick pass out there to Gilbert. Gilbert falls forward over the 30 to the 32. Give him 4 on the play, 2nd and 6 as we're inside a minute to go in this opening quarter.
Well, you know, that's the play that you want with Everett Gilbert. You want to get him in space because as we saw last year, hey, he was really, really impressive in space. This year hasn't been able to break that thing off yet, Chris. His longest play of the year so far is 13 yards.
Now McGee backs off. Checks the play. 2nd down from the 32. They'll stay on the ground to Davis, who's got a hole at the 30. He finds it up over the 40 and a 1st down. Lorenzo Davis found the hole, shot through it, got the 1st down. Nicely done.
Well, he's certainly found the hole, but this is a hole I think you or I could have found. Mike Person at his left tackle pulls out here and just buries that defensive end. That's a great job for the senior co-captain for MSU.
First down. Gain is all the way to the 43. And a movement on the right side. That time, that was Leo Davis.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 50 offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, MSU came into this game with only 5 penalties for 34 yards in the first 2 games. I'm pretty confident we've exceeded that number already today.
Yep, so that'll back it up. That'll be the final play of the first quarter as the clock winds down. So 15 minutes in the books from Bobcat Stadium in Bozeman. MSU leads on a couple of Jason Cunningham field goals, 6-0 over the Drake Bulldogs. We'll pause now for these words from your local stations.
Good put on him.
Hinkowski may go to the well. Really, your 2 games.
Start quarter number 2, and you see Coach Creighton involved in a spirited discussion, we'll say, between quarters. As McGee goes to Gilbert. He's had words pretty much that entire first quarter. He hasn't been a real happy guy.
I'm not so sure. Maybe we got to get him some counseling, because with all the penalties that they have called on MSU, boy, if those guys are missing some, we're in for a long, long day here.
There's the rushing yards, and you can see Drake came in with some pretty woeful numbers, and 7 carries -3. Bobcats 8 for 69. First and 10 from the 45. McGee pulls it down, now looks downfield, fires across the middle, and that's complete inside the 30 to Everett Gilbert, who had to come back behind to make the catch. Sensational job to get control of the football.
Well, I think Everett Gilbert may have taken offense to me saying he only had 1 play for 13 yards. This is 2 consecutive plays that he's picked up over 15. Here, just a nice job of Daenerys stepping up in the pocket and delivering. If that ball's thrown out in front, we're probably hearing that cannon go off for 6 points for MSU.
First down from the 27. Beggar goes in motion. And the give is to Davis. Now cuts left, breaks 1 tackle, and then wrapped up and brought down at the 25-yard line. So a good open field tackle by Drake, and I believe that was the corner, Michael Lahart, that was in on the stop and able to wrap up Davis.
Yeah, this play, I think this is initially designed to go the other way, and he just said, well, maybe it was cut back all the way, but he didn't have anybody out there to help. And boy, the Drake defense really rallies to the football on that one.
So a gain of 2 brings up 2nd and 8 from the 25, just underway second quarter. Here's McGee, looks out to his right, now fires, and that's caught inside the 20 to Kyle Beggar. Looks like he might be a yard short of the first down.
Yeah, I think we're going to go to 3rd down. Here, it just looks like we're taking a play out of the Drake playbook here. Just a short, timely, delivered underneath the linebackers, and you require them. And again, that's their star in the middle there, Ben Morrison on defense, making a nice tackle, wrapping up Beggar short of the first down.
Shane Robinson checks in, a double tight end formation now as Beggar goes in motion. The give is to Davis, and Davis tries to bounce to the outside, gets the first down on 3rd and 2 as he takes it down to the 14-yard line. Well, they stacked it with 2 tight ends on that left side with Beggar and Robinson, and Davis able to get the first down yardage.
You know what I really like about this run is you watch Davis, he breaks his first move outside, steps it up, but then he's got a chance to go outside and he turns it up, and that's great awareness of you knowing it's 3rd and 1. Instead of taking that shot at that big run on the outside, get the first down.
First down from the 14. Give us to Davis. Davis hit at the line of scrimmage, but still manages to get down close to the 10. And what looked like nothing there, give him close to 3 yards on the carry. Well, Davis will lose his helmet coming out of that pile.
He doesn't want to do that. He lost that last week at WSU. It took a shot. It cost him, I think, 6 stitches in his ear. So we better keep that thing on. I don't know if they need to fix that chin strap or what they need to do, but I think he'd prefer to have that on at the bottom of those piles.
They give him 3, 2nd and 7 from the 11. Beggar again goes in motion. Here's McGee, looks into the end zone. This is caught at the 5 and down close to the goal line after the catch, Julius Lloyd. Believe that's his first catch of the day. Take a look at it from the end zone.
Yeah, you can see here from the defensive perspective, just a little ball fake, throw over the middle, backer drives up, but still a big gain up in front of that backer.
First and goal from the 2, McGee. Tries the left side, he's going to be marked short, no gain on the play. Second and goal.
Boy, there was nothing doing on that play up front for MSU. We haven't seen that front get blown back quite that effectively, so credit Drake on defense there, because that was just a great push. There was nothing there for Denarius McGee.
Cody Kirk in the backfield. Foster, the backup tight end, lines up in front of him. On second down, Beggar goes in motion. And Kirk with the ball, hit at the 5, falls forward. And he may have lost a yard on the play. That time wrapped up in the backfield. That's a stout Bulldog defense, huh?
Well, we talked about their front being very experienced and very good against the rush. You can see here, just goes 93, comes right across. That's Andrew Asbell, the defensive end, and there's just nothing there. That's you know, a little bit disheartening from that MSU perspective that you can't get that front moved a little bit off the ball.
Third and goal from the 2. Kirk in the backfield. Now McGee throws to the back of the end zone and incomplete. That was intended for Elvis Akpla. They tried to run the fade route to the corner of the end zone. But once again, Michael Lahart, a great job. He was locked up there in single coverage and able to knock it down.
Well, this ball goes up. This is one you want to allow the receiver to go up and make a play on. Some contact there, but I don't think anything that deserved yet another penalty flag. Just good defense that time. And as you say, for the 3rd consecutive time, MSU has been down knocking on the door and is going to have to settle for a field goal.
Here's Cunningham, what amounts to pretty much an extra point, and the field goal is good. So 10:20 to go, second quarter, and the Bobcats up the lead to 9-0. Drive for Montana State, 16 plays, 88 yards, 6.5 minutes off the clock, and it results in Jason Cunningham's 3rd field goal of the day. Montana State leads 9-0 with 10:20 to go here in the second quarter. Well, Cunningham's been perfect today. We talked about it a bit earlier, 31 field goals coming into this one. That's 5th all time on the Bobcat list. He was 4 of 5 this season. He's now 7 of 8. What a season Jason Cunningham has had. And of course, that 55-yarder earlier in the first quarter, the longest of his career.
Yeah, the 55-yarder is a beautiful thing. That one a little chip shot, but they all count.
So Cunningham gets his foot into this one, and Mosier will sit down on it. Drake has it 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line.
Well, let's give Cunningham a little bit more credit. We saw the first kickoff that MSU had. He's short. They fielded the ball and got a really nice return for Drake up to over the 30-yard line. The last 2 have put in the end zone and forced Drake to have no return and start at their own 20.
That's a pretty fashionable shades there, don't you think, on that little one there? Had the nice little sunglasses on.
Missed out.
Beautiful day today. Sunshine is out in the Gallatin Valley. Perfect day for football. So the Bulldogs, they've been shut out so far in this game. Will go back to work on offense, trailing 9-0. Piatkowski, they'll stay on the ground and hit and taken down right at the line of scrimmage. And again, the lack of any kind of running game really starting to allow the Bobcats to just tee off.
Well, that was a great play that time by Alexi Grozalak. Came up, took that guard on, was able to step outside and stuff that line, and for just a small, less than a yard gain.
Well, they say he got a yard, so 2nd and 9 from the 21. Piatkowski now flips out there, incomplete. No chance for the play. That was intended for Nick Rosa.
Well, you can see you throw that ball underneath, and what you're going to start to get is that time Jody Owens is going to start to gamble, try to come up underneath and make a play. But now it looks like we've got a Bobcat down. I believe that's number 11, John Ledette.
So Ledette's being attended to, injured on the play. Drake has a 3rd down. I can't remember any game where the talk before, well, we'll get to this in a minute because there is a break in the action. So with the injury. We'll step aside. 9:49 to go here in the second quarter. Montana State leading.
Right now.
John Ledette shaken up on the play, replaced by Caleb Schreibeis, the sophomore out of Billings West, and a 3rd and 9 now for the Bulldogs from the 21-yard line. Montana State defense has been tough today to move on. They go with the 4-receiver set on 3rd down. Piatkowski operates out of the gun, now puts a man in motion. And just simply throws it into the ground. Nothing there. Takes a shot at the end of the play. Gets put on his backside, and it's 4th down.
They were trying to go with the middle screen here, but still just too much pressure, too quick. They can't get this thing set up. They could not get the backup. Smart play by Piatkowski to just throw the ball down and kill it.
So 4th down. That'll bring up a punting situation for Drake as Billy Jansen in to kick. Elvis Akpla standing back just inside his 40. High kick. And Akpla gets wiped out at the 40, now fumbles the football. Drake says they have it. There was no fair catch signaled, and Akpla was hit immediately. Now let's...
Boy, no fair catch signal, but you still, where they don't have the halo rule any longer, you still have to give that man an opportunity to go catch a football, and I'm not sure that he had much of a shot at this.
Well, he had it. He had it caught and then was hit immediately by number 40. That was Josh Matthews, and the Bulldogs catch a break here as they have it at the 41-yard line of Montana State in a fresh set of downs. So a turnover for the Bobcats has Drake in business now. Trailing by 9. 4-receiver set. Piatkowski looks across the middle, has a man wide open at the 35, and down to the 25 on a 1st down as Cashmore was all alone over the middle and gets the 1st down.
Cashmere lines up in the backfield. This is one that does a nice job slipping underneath, and really the area was vacated by the MSU linebackers, and he got a big gain, and he's up with a big run there.
Yeah, there's Cashmore taking it down to the 10-yard line, and that's a 1st down. He's not the swiftest guy on the field, but he got it done, huh?
No, this is not exactly, doesn't look like a sprinter, but I'll tell you, he gets out here, and a nice job by that offensive line. I think they beat MSU to the punch there in that no-huddle that time. Nice change of tempo.
So the gain is all the way down to the 12-yard line, 1st down. Cashmore stays in the backfield. Now look over to get the play signaled in from the sideline. Piatkowski complete to the 10. Very little gain there. Give him 2 on the play. Playtech with the catch.
Another nice job by Arnold Briggs, who's having a really fine performance today. Just drives up hard on this. Stops it for, just a very short gain here. Going to bring up, what, about 7, you think, Chris?
2nd and 8. Second trip for the Bulldogs inside the red zone. So far, no points to show for it. Piatkowski looks to the end zone. This is caught for a touchdown. Oh, what a nice play in the end zone. That is caught for the touchdown by Holstein, the tight end, who just used his big body to separate from the defender and made the catch.
Yeah, he did. We're talking about the outstanding job that Arnold Briggs has done today on this corner. That time, just a very good throw that lets him, his big receiver, go up and shield that defender and make the catch for the touchdown.
Jansen on for the PAT. Kick on its way. It is good. We've got a game. 7:56 to go, second quarter. 9-7 after the Drake touchdown. That's the only touchdown of the game, and they trail 9-7. And this was a well drawn up play and very well executed by the tight end.
Yeah, it really was. Usually when you see the quarterback make that first pump, they want to go up top, but that's just a big body being used effectively to shield off that corner. Touchdown, Drake.
Well, Holstein, 6'5", 223 pounds, locked up with Arnold Briggs, and there you see it, 4 plays, 41 yards, the 10-yard touchdown pass.
Let's not forget how that drive got started off, the turnover on the punt. You just can't. Coach S said earlier in this week, hey, these guys are solid, they will play smart. You can't give them any breaks. MSU did, and you saw what happened.
Now Gilbert hit just over the 20 to the 24-yard line, and the Bobcats go back to work on offense.
I think it's really important for MSU to try and put a drive together here and not only move the ball, but they've got to come out of this thing with 7 points. The 3 times where they've had to settle for the field goal is just not going to get them over the top today.
First down from the 24. Good crowd on hand for today's game here in Bozeman. 7:50 to go in the second quarter. Davis back in. And the give is to Gilbert. Gilbert shifting into the backfield and runs it up over the 30, and that's very close to a first down. It looks like he's got it. Let's take one more look at that touchdown for the Bulldogs.
Well, there's the matchup right there. It's Holstein on Briggs. He just drives him behind and keeps his body in front.
Good execution there, and a good pass by.
Yeah, it was. The pass is really what creates the opportunity. Absolutely, Chris.
First down from the 34. Now McGee looks over. He'll check the offensive set here. Now comes out of the shotgun. He's got Davis in the backfield on first down. McGee flips it out to the left. That's caught. And close to the 40-yard line, and that's Deshaun Thomas. We were talking about him before the game and haven't seen a lot of him this year.
No, really haven't called his name. Of course, he was suspended for that first game, but here's the things that we saw from him when he was really 2 years ago when he was a this season. This ball stepped out, got on time, and just perfectly thrown. Hits him right on stride, and a big play for MSU.
So the Bobcats countered. Third catch of the day for Lloyd. First down all the way down to the 15-yard line for Montana State. Give us to Davis, and Davis breaks a tackle down to the 10. 5, touchdown Montana State. Lorenzo Davis breaking tackles from 10 yards out, gets into the end zone. First touchdown of the afternoon for the Bobcats.
Well, I tell you, he has done a great job. We've seen him break tackles, make moves. This is just a whole lot of effort here. You see him wrapped up early down low, but keeps those feet driving and is able to pull away. Gets MSU in the end zone for a much-needed touchdown.
First touchdown of the afternoon for Montana State is Cunningham on for the extra point. Ball down, kick on the way, and good. 5:56 to go, second quarter. Montana State ups the lead to 16-7. Back after these words from your local stations. You're watching Bobcat Game Day. On top, 16-7 after the touchdown run by Lorenzo Davis. 7 plays, 53 yards. Davis with the touchdown, and it's now 16-7. All set up on the long pass play on 3rd and 8 from Denarius McGee to Julius Lloyd. Cunningham now kicks it away. And once again, Drake unable to bring it out, so they'll take over 1st and 10 from the 20.
Well, you can see McGee is going to hit Lloyd down here right across the middle of the field on this pass play, and it's just a beautiful throw and catch. Starts here. Watch it. Footwork in the popping. Oh, I thought we were going to see the play that set it up, but that's a touchdown, and you can see.
It's like a halo over his head for the.
I don't know if that went downstairs.
That was well drawn up. You did.
Yeah.
It was a nice job of highlighting that run.
I was a 5-year art major here at MSU.
And there's another catch to Hohenstein. Of course, he was the guy that hooked up with Piatkowski for the touchdown. And that's a big gain of 20 yards to the 40 in the first down. They did a great job using their tight ends in this passing game.
Yeah, Hohenstein looks like he's going to go down there, but that's 4 catches for him already. And as you mentioned, the touchdown, that would be his long reception. Here, just a simple little play fake, and he runs up the seam. That's a play where that Jody Owens, as a linebacker, you've got to run with that tight end when you've got that too high coverage.
So the gain all the way out to the 41. You know, much of the talk in the leading up to this game is typically about the players, but this is one of the few exceptions where all the talk leading up to this game was with Rob Ash. He'd spent so much time at Drake, said it was going to be a very strange situation from him. He's from Iowa, from Des Moines, spent 18 years at Drake, and it must have seemed a little strange to line up across the sideline, huh?
Yeah, I think so. And, you know, a lot of that stuff, I think, is very strange in your preparation as you look at a team that, geez, I think, you know, which team am I supposed to be game planning against? But
right.
I think a lot of it hopefully goes out the door as soon as that first kickoff happens, and your mind is cleared and you're focusing on just the play-by-play execution of your team.
This is a home and home. Montana State will travel to Drake in the 2012 season, not next year, but they'll go back and play Drake in Iowa in a couple of years. So first down from the 41. Clock running, under 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. Short little pass complete to the 44. Now they're saying incomplete. Let's go down below to A.J. Donatoni.
Guys, for the most part today, that Montana State defense, besides the one touchdown, has held pretty well. They even forced a turnover in the end zone, and Arnold brings interception. Jamie Marshall is the defensive coordinator for the Cats. He played for Rob Ash at Drake in the late 90s. Here's what he had to say, what makes Coach Ash such a great leader.
You learn the hard way, and you know, it really pays off after your playing days. That's when you really figure out what he's all about.
All right, and a first down catch for Drake as they keep the chains moving. That was complete to Nick Rosa. And Rosa, we'll see where they mark it.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. It's a defense. 15-yard penalty from the end. First down.
Well, we'll see if we catch it here or not, but just another, I mean, silly penalty. Those personal fouls are just so costly and really absolutely unnecessary. Here, as we take a look at it, you can see Piatkowski rolls out, sets his feet, and then the hit comes in. Oh, just, that's D'Alba again. That is his second personal foul of the day. We talked about some of the history between the coaches here, but D'Alba is a gentleman that actually played at the University of Drake and transferred into Montana State, so maybe just a little bit over-emotional today.
Cody Seeger is the backup, a 5-ton, 180-pound sophomore out of Barrington, Illinois. He's in as they tend to Piatkowski, who's still down.
Yeah, we talked in the opening about just the great accuracy and the ability to deliver the football has been very impressive today, mostly in his timing today. He's gotten that ball out, and for the most part, obviously they're not completely, but has avoided that rush from MSU.
Well, Piatkowski looks pretty woozy as he comes over to the Drake sideline, and now Coach Creighton rallying the troops now as he knows that they're very much in this game. They have the ball at the 29-yard line, first down, trailing 16-7. So the job falls to Seeger to continue to move this Bulldog offense. Playtech goes in motion. Now Seeger rolls left, still looking, and he takes a huge shot right at the 28-yard line. Boy, did he take a whack by Jody Owens.
Well, Jody Owens is great pursuit as he falls back here, nothing there, breaks a pocket, and listen up.
Oh.
That's the sound of fall right there, Chris.
Yeah, that was a wicked hit put on the backup quarterback. So Seeger gets his introduction to this game as he takes a pretty good shot. He picked up 2 on the play, 2nd and 8. Now throws across the middle and has a man wide open. That's Platek inside the 10-yard line. And Stephen Platek. Little bit of instant offense for the Bulldogs there. Fake the run, flip it out over the middle.
Well, that is the first pass that he has thrown all season, so not a bad start for the backup quarterback from Drake.
Winding down to the 4-minute mark of the second quarter. 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. Drake trailing 16-7 to Montana State. Seeger has some running room, tripped up, falls forward. Looked like he had more than maybe was actually there.
It did. Michael Ryder comes up from that safety spot, makes a nice close.
Yeah, it looked like Cashmore was signaling for a timeout right here. And nobody saw it.
I would say that definitely he was signaling for a timeout.
Nobody saw it. They give him 1 on the play, so 2nd and goal from the 7. And you see on the Drake sideline, they got a couple of guys in orange vests that are signaling plays in. One the decoy, one getting the play into Seeger on 2nd down. Seeger rolls right, looking, still looking, now throws into the end zone. And boy, he just threw that one into traffic.
Boy, yeah, that was a dangerous throw by the backup quarterback here. That's one I think that with the experience you learn is you watch him here, you're down on the goal line, you got a great opportunity to get points on the board. You roll out here, but there's just nothing there. That's a ball that needs to be thrown away. Jody Owens did a good job of breaking that thing up and nearly intercepted it. It would be not the way you want to cap off your first drive of the day for this young man.
So the incomplete pass brings up 3rd and goal from the 7. Seeger will operate out of the gun. He's got Cashmore in the backfield. And now little looks, now throws to the back of the end zone and incomplete. That was intended for Drew Blackman. And that'll bring the field goal unit on. So a good stand by the Montana State defense. And that's going to set up a Billy Jansen field goal attempt. Spot of the ball will be on the 14, so a 24-yard field goal attempt for Jansen. Ball down, kick on the way, and this one is missed. So Jansen misses from 24 yards. Drake is turned away, and the Bobcats get the football back with 3 minutes to go here in quarter number 2.
Well, the Bobcats, 3 minutes, as you mentioned, also 3 timeouts. This is really a place where you want to, as a team that's struggled a little bit in the first half, haven't looked as sharp. We mentioned in the break maybe a little hangover from last week, but now a great opportunity to come out and execute.
Well, we'll see if we can get a look here. From our vantage point, it looked good. Of course, we're looking from a much different angle, but let's take a look at the kick now. Had plenty of distance, so.
Well, good snap, good hold. The ball is set. Got some pressure there, but I'm not sure. That looks like he just pulled it a little bit left.
Bleskin with the catch at the 25 and quickly taken out of bounds. We talked about how high the standard is, Mike, for a team out of the Pioneer to reach the postseason. It's never happened. The closest that anyone came to getting into the playoffs was a few years ago when, of course, San Diego, coached by Jim Harbaugh, you remember that team? They were being considered for a playoff spot the same year that Montana State was, and of course the Bobcats got in that year and hosted Furman in the first round.
Yeah, and I think they're going to just continue to have, even with the expanded playoff format, as you said, their standard very high to elevate them to playoff status.
And let's go down on the field to join A.J. Donatoni with an update on the injury to their quarterback.
Guys, Michael Piakowski took a hard hit there on that last drive. They said he just got the wind knocked out of him, though, that he's going to be okay to return, hopefully, on the next possession. Guys.
Thanks, A.J. McGee's pass incomplete at the 45.
Boy, I think that ball was delivered right where it needed to be. I think Bletzkin just let up on the end of that route. Didn't quite make the effort to finish that play that he could have.
2nd and 10 from the 33. Still plenty of time, 2.5 minutes to go in quarter number 2. And McGee operates out of the gun. They'll stay on the ground. Here's Davis with some running room to the 40. Up over the 45 on a first down to the 48-yard line. Lorenzo Davis, good hard running, already has a touchdown today.
Well, with that carry, he will be up over 100 yards for the afternoon, and we're still in the closing minutes of this first half. But a nice job, a good kick-out block right here by Everett Gilbert. Springs him upfield, and he's about over 100, 110 yards, and it's early in the afternoon.
So a fresh set of downs from McGee, who fires over the middle and has a wide-open Tanner Bleskin, who makes a nice move at the 30 and takes it down inside the 25-yard line.
Tanner Bleskin went back to the huddle after what we saw 2 plays ago and says, hey, I can get open again. Give me another shot at this route. Here you can see McGee, just 3-step drop, delivers the ball over the middle, and a nice catch by Bleskin. Redeems himself for that last one.
Yeah, great touch by McGee, as he just put it over the top of the linebackers. Here's Davis, who gets wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage. Not much there. Montana State will be looking at 2nd down.
Boy, he's going to go off the field after that play, but a really nice job by Generis inside for Drake to just shut that thing down and really not allow any type of running lane for Davis on that play.
2nd and 9 after a pickup of 1. Here's McGee. Feels pressure, now steps up in the pocket. Keeps the football, hit and loses it at the 20, and that's recovered by Drake. Oh,
54,
man.
Ben Morrison. He is their most active player on defense, and he comes up. As you see, as they break the pocket, things break down. A nice job by Davis, comes across the formation to pick up the blitzer, frees Daenerys up, but he's got to put this thing away. Just a big hit by the linebacker, and Morrison will come up with a big turnover for Drake.
Boy, mistakes have been the story in this game today for Montana State, and another one here. With the Bobcats threatening to score, McGee coughs it up. Drake has the football, trailing 16-7, and just a minute 17 to go here in the 2nd quarter. Well, we'll see if Montana State uses their timeouts to try to get the football back. And now the whistle. Seeger's still in at quarterback for...
Prior to snap, delay a game, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
5-yard penalty will move it back to the 14-yard line.
Yeah, you know, as a coach, you hate to see that penalty on. You get the change of possession, you've got some momentum, and you would think that you would be able to get organized and get your playoff timely when you're coming from the break.
So 1st and 15 now.
Please reset the clock to 1 minute, 17 seconds. 1 minute, 17 seconds. Start on the snap.
Montana State does have all 3 timeouts remaining, and with Drake deep in their own end, we'll see what they do here. Well, a lot of whistles in this game today, huh?
Boy, it has been an ugly first half from that perspective.
And they do stay on the ground. Cashmore breaks a couple of tackles and gets all, and another flag comes in.
Well, you know, I thought for a minute we were going to get through a play there without seeing that yellow out on the field, but no, this was a nice run by Cashmore, and I'm not really sure what the flag is going to be for here. Let's get the signal.
Well, it came.
Illegal block below the waist on the offense, number 3. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Well, they called it on Cashmore, and he was the one that carried the football, so I'm not sure what the...
Penalties on number 3, half the distance, a goal.
There we
I
go.
think that it was actually that they're going to call it on the wide receiver, Joey Orlando, number 3, not number 30. But as you can see, once again, Coach Creighton is not happy with the officiating so far.
So that
Timeout.
negates a
their first timeout.
Nice gain, and Montana State will use their first timeout. Here's Orlando, the sophomore. He's kind of wondering what it is that he did. That's how you sell it to the coach when you walk over there. I didn't do anything
That's
wrong.
Right. That was
Coach,
I saw you arguing. You were absolutely right. I did nothing wrong.
And didn't do a thing.
Well, that's usually what a call. I think it's difficult to focus, and you can see it kind of echoed there in the fact that they came into 5 penalties the first 2 games and 7 penalties already today. So, yeah, the focus it's difficult, particularly when you get up for a big game like that, and then you've got a game like Drake and take nothing away from them because they're certainly in the middle of this one. But this is a game, when you look at the schedule, that's one that you should win.
So Cashmore gets the call. Montana State will use its second timeout.
Timeout, Montana State, their second timeout.
In 8 wins, which is no easy challenge to begin with. Then you've got to make sure you got 2 wins outside your conference against teams that come from an automatic bid conference. And then on top of that, you have to be ranked in the top 20 as well.
And you have to do it, you have to meet all 3 of that criteria. It's not one or the other, it's all 3. The two quality wins. Right. You have to be ranked, as you said.
Timeout, Montana State.
And if you do meet that criteria, there's still nothing automatic about it.
Right.
All you do is gain the opportunity to be eligible.
Well, they've certainly. So the Bobcats use their final timeout. It's a 3rd and 4 from the 25. 52 seconds to go in the opening half. Seeger rolls left, still looking, and now tries to go down at the 25 to get out of bounds. And he does, or tried to stay in bounds rather.
Looks like the clock is going to continue to run. We'll see if we can get another look at it. What he does do to stay in bounds. Boy, he's rolling out here. Decides to tuck the football.
Right there, puts the knee down.
Boy, yeah. That's a smart play.
Sure, because if he goes out of bounds, that stops the clock, and Montana State has a chance to set up for a block punt, maybe 1 or 2 strikes to the end zone. But he stays in bounds. That's going to all but run out the clock. They'll actually take a penalty here. Back it up 5 yards, so just 5 seconds remaining on quarter number 2.
That's a heads-up play. We talk about Drake being an academic school. There's a guy doing a very smart thing under a lot of duress.
And Portland State takes on Oregon. Good luck.
Oh, we got a little bit of change here. It's going to be Deshaun Thomas back for this one. They do get the block.
And that is exactly what Montana State was trying to do. But you know what? Time has expired.
Cody Seeger, great job here. The great pressure comes right up the middle. They're able to get this thing blocked. But as we talked about, due to the smart play by Seegers in handling the clock management on that last play, time is going to expire.
Here with Chris Creighton. Coach, ugly first half by all accounts, but you did hold Montana State to 3 field goals and a touchdown. You guys are right in it. What are your thoughts on that first half?
Not ugly at all. I mean, that was a great first half of football. We're forcing turnovers, we're moving the ball, you know, and taking some personal foul penalties. Not ugly to me.
I guess it's never ugly when you're still in the game, right? I guess so. What do you have to do in the second half against Montana State to get back in this game and get going?
We're in this game. Just keep playing. Shoot. I mean, still in the game. It's 16-7.
How about that red zone defense? You guys are doing a good job shutting down the red zone.
We sure are, man. Our guys are playing, man. Guys are playing. We're good. We're a good football team, and we're gonna fight. We're gonna play.
All right, Coach. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, coming up after the break, we will have the Montana State University MVP of the week.
I think it's Drake following their game plan, just as they have the first 2 games. Very little in rushing yardage, 29, but good numbers passing the football.
Yeah, they've been able to pass the ball effectively underneath, high percentage stuff. Not rushing the ball well, but they haven't, and I don't think they expected to today. And we can see on the Montana State side of the ledger, lots of yards, lots of first downs, but still just a 16 points.
Well, and here's the one. When you look at penalties and turnovers for Montana State, that makes a difference in the game right there. 7 penalties, 2 turnovers.
Yeah, the penalties, and really the types of penalties. A couple of silly offsides, and really a couple of unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. They're just not acceptable. You don't want to get too down on the kids because they are kids and you get heated up, particularly against a school that you've played for. But those things, they just can't happen if you want to progress and build off this game as you move into the league. Those are the exact type of plays that are going to kill you.
Well, and Chris Creighton, I can only imagine his speech in the locker room. He was fired up when he went off the sideline today, and he was talking to A.J. Donatoni down there. And, I mean, that's a guy, there was a little Newt Rockney going on in that locker room, right?
I'll tell you what, if he got after those kids like he wanted to get after A.J., they're going to be ready to come out this second half.
All right, we'll be back from Bobcat Stadium as halftime rolls on after these words from your local stations. You're watching Bob.
Defend the block. All right, guys, here with head coach Rob Ashley. Now, coach, pretty sloppy first half by all accounts. A lot of penalties. You turned it over there at the end. What were your impressions of that first half?
It was a pretty sloppy first half. A lot of penalties and 2 turnovers. I mean, that's just not our team. But, AJ is just, it's the natural ebb and flow of a college football season. That's just how it goes. We were really sky high for our opener, really sky high for Washington State. And it's really hard to stay at that same level every week. And I think we've played hard and we made some good plays, and we just got to clean it up in the second half.
4 scores in that first half and 3 field goals. What is it about their red zone defense that's kind of throwing you guys off?
What they're doing was with their blitz packages, they're bringing them from depth, and so we can't see them coming ahead of time. And we knew that, we prepared for it, but what happens is we're getting into a play that's not really built for a blitz, and then the blitz comes, and it's a little bit late, and that's been kind of throwing our timing off, and we're not able to audible out of it because we're not seeing it early enough. So we talked about some answers to that here, and I think we'll do better in the red zone in the second half.
And real quick, Coach, John Ledette, what's his status?
He's fine. Yeah, John just got undercut there on a chop block, and he's going to be okay.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Back to you, Chris.
All right, thanks, AJ. So set to go here in the second half. Let's take a look at the highlights from half number 1, and I guess Michael Renzo Davis is going to occupy a good part of those highlights.
Yeah, I would think just about all of them from the MSU side, with the exception of the field goals. A 55-yarder there by Cunningham. As we said, his longest of what has been a great career.
3 field goals for Jason Cunningham in the first half, and then here's Davis again going to work and getting those tough yards, and then McGee goes up top. That one, though, knocked down. The Bulldogs showing some good defense.
And again, stopped, held to the field goal.
So Cunningham, 3 field goals in the first half, and then look at the interception here by Briggs.
Yeah, that was just huge. That was just the end of a great drive for Drake, just to come up empty after a play like that really kind of takes the wind out of your sails.
And turnovers, we talked about those for Montana State. They had a couple of them in that first half. And then here's the touchdown for Drake to the big tight end.
Yeah, Hoenstein having a big first half, 4 receptions already, 55 yards and a TD.
Well, that made it 9-7, but then the play of the first half as McGee finds Julius Lloyd. That came on a 3rd and 8 and set up Montana State's only touchdown of the first half.
Yeah, and here we see it. It's just Lorenzo Davis coming off the right side, good blocking up front, had 1 man to beat, was able to shake free for the score.
And then later in quarter number 2, here's the second turnover of the half as McGee, they got down deep into Drake territory, the fumble, and then the block punt, which ended the second quarter. Time expired, incidentally, on that play. So that's where we stand after 2 quarters, and I ask you about it as a player. Coach Ash reiterated exactly what you said. It is hard to continually stay up for games. Take nothing away from Drake. They played a good first half, but not a typical Montana State football team right now through 2 quarters with the penalties and the turnovers.
No, and I think this is really, this game can be go one or 2 ways. They can step up the second half because this is far from decided, and this can be one of those things where you go, geez, we really dropped the ball there, and it really has kind of lingered and hurt our season. Or you step up, you have a good second half, you get into your conference play, and people forget about that this game even happened. All it turns into is a W on your record sheet, and everybody moves on and starts to think about conference play.
Lucas Mosier and Michael Hart deep to receive as the Bulldogs get the football to start half number 2. Cunningham on to kick away. There's Mosier. One of the things that it's impressed me about this Drake team, Mike, is just how sound they are. Granted, they don't run the ball well, but very solid defensively, very good on their lines, their offensive line and defensive line. They played pretty good football, so Cunningham drives Mosier into the end zone, and again, on the touchback, the Bulldogs will have it 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. So I guess the mantra that Coach Ash would tell his team in the locker room is, hey guys, penalties and turnovers, okay? Let's, eliminate those and we'll be fine.
Yeah, well, I think that's got to be just, hey, fellas, we got to clean it up and play our brand of football. 312 yards. As we see the score there, Idaho State and Northern Colorado all tied up in the third.
Well, Northern Colorado took Weber to, what, 4 overtimes?
They may still be tired. I know that one kept me up late watching that thing. It looked like no one wanted to win it there towards the end. But, yeah, you talk about finding out if you've got the lingering effects from the week before. That one was really a heartbreaker for Northern Colorado.
One of the teams trying to be on the rise in the Big Sky Conference as they stay on the ground. And in that quarterback, interesting enough, is Cody Seeger. So Piatkowski may be banged up a little bit more than what they've let on to it.
I think so. And here we see there's Dan Ogden, the senior inside man. Gets off that block, fights out, makes a nice stop. Short yardage gain for.
Oh, Seeger's going to go down big time as he is hit, fumbles the football. There's a flag on the play, so all kinds of stuff's going on.
It looks like the umpire is going to come in, and he is the one that made the call. Usually, that's something that's going to go.
Holding, number 71 offense. That penalty is declined.
On the hold there, because that umpire is focused on that offensive line inside the tackles. But let's take another look at the play, and it's a jailbreak here. He looks for that handoff, and boy, who is that 44? I think Lexi Grozlak. We've talked about him. Now you can add a forced fumble to his impressive list of stats. And hey, 45, Jason Alba there to clean it up.
Player of the week in the Big Sky Conference last week against Washington State. And the freshman continues to impress. So 1st down for the Bobcats. They get the ball. Davis, the handoff. Hit right at the 13-yard line. Falls forward, gets a couple. Nice job defensively by Ben Morrison, who hits Davis just inside the 15. Montana State with a big break here to start the 3rd quarter. They have a 2nd and 7 on the 11-yard line. Grosselak coming in on the blind side. Makes the big hit, forces the fumble. D'Alba on the recovery. And here we are with Montana State threatening to score in the 1st minute of the 3rd quarter. McGee out of the shotgun on 2nd down. They stay on the ground to Davis, bounces off a couple of tackles, still on his feet. No gain on the play.
Great effort there by Davis. Not able to break free, but just a really fine effort. You can see inside. Again, nice job up front for that Drake defensive group. Nothing going upside. Looks like we do have a Bobcat man down on the field. I can't get a number. Can you, Chris?
No, I don't see it yet. It looks like one of the big offensive linemen. And we think that is Ben Tuana'u.
Oh, yeah, well, hopefully Ben was
Media
back.
timeout.
And we've already got, on the other side, Casey Dennehy is making the start for an injured Conrad Burbank. So I'm not sure that, boy, this is obviously bad news. And here we're going to get another look at it. If we can pick it up here. It looks like it goes down on the back of that leg. Boy, it doesn't look good. You're hoping that that's one where that cleat didn't catch. And he's able to slide out, but
well, that's the big fear on these offensive linemen when they're blocking like that and they're exposed and got that leg rolled right into.
Well, and it comes from behind you. You know, you have no ability to protect yourself. You're engaged in your block, and boy, we hope that that's nothing serious. Obviously, that's a big area of concern already with the one injury to the other offensive guard, Conrad Burbank, who's going to be out for looks like several more weeks at a minimum. So, boy, it doesn't look good, but we'll hope for the best for Ben Tuana'u.
Well, Coach Ash talked about it. He said going into the season they were thin at offensive line, and Burbank is out, and now Tuana'u is out, and we'll wait and see what the report is on him. And in the meantime, the Bobcats will be looking at a 3rd and 7 from the 11-yard line.
Well, yeah, you know, in a really important time that Bobcats really need to score here. And you hate to lose one of those guys, but boy, it's a part of football, and you really got to try and, again, maintain your focus and move on, and you've got to always move to the next play. They're going to get a substitute in there, and they're going to hope that he's going to play well and get the Bobcat team into the end zone.
So Montana State back on the field. Jesse Hoffman, the senior from Helena, in the lineup along that offensive line as the Bobcats look at a 3rd and 7. Just underway, 3rd quarter. Here's McGee. Looks right, now throws out there and intended for Davis. Incomplete, and McGee took a big-time shot. As coming in hard on the play was John Sawhill, the junior, and he gave McGee a pretty good lick.
Right, actually pretty well executed play. They're just trying to run a little screen here, but they give a little too much too early. He takes a big hit. Boy, that ball is right off the fingers of Lorenzo Davis. If he's able to pull that in, there was no one there between him and the goal line.
27-yard field goal attempt for Jason Cunningham from the left hash. Plenty of leg on this one, and it's good. So with 13:21 to go in the 3rd quarter, Jason Cunningham's 4th field goal of the afternoon ups the Bobcat lead to 19-7. Not much there. 4 plays, just a couple of yards, and Cunningham's field goal ups the lead to 19-7. He's on to kick things off now as Drake will get the football back. And if you're Drake, you got to feel pretty good about that. You cough up the football inside the 15, and the Bobcats unable to come away with anything more than a field goal.
Yeah, I think you really do. You know, you get that unfortunate change of possession, but you're able to go out there and get a stop in the red zone and really keep yourself in the game. You know, a touchdown really is, in a tight game like this, is going to make a little bit of separation, whereas right now things are really still very much in contention.
You know, so much of football is overlooked in the kicking game and punting and kickoffs, but just the kickoffs today. Jason Cunningham, every single kick into the back of the end zone. Drake is never able to get the ball past the 20-yard line. That's just one of those things that a lot of people don't notice or pick up on, but what a huge, huge advantage that is in regard to field position.
Right, and we're looking at very little wind here today. And credit Jason Cunningham for that, because that was a point of emphasis for him when he knew that he was going to come over and take on those kickoff duties this year. He went out, improved his leg strength, and we've seen the results.
Well, Bobcats brought everybody that time. And
yeah,
they get the sack.
You can see it. They bring 7 on this, and boy, everybody's there. There is Dustin O'Connell out of Helena. Been waiting to call his name all year. I work with his cousin. He says, you got to call his name. I said, God, those big linemen, they got to get some stats. So there he is, 48, ladies and gentlemen. Big sack there for MSU.
Loss of 5, 2nd and 15 from the 15. Drake has the football now. Seeger rolls to his right. This is run all the way. And he dances out of bounds to the 17-yard line. He'll get a couple on the play. And that looked like that was designed as a run all the way as Seeger kept the football. And, you know, AJ reported in the first half that they thought their starting quarterback, Piatkowski, was going to return. But in the day and age where head trauma, concussions, those things are so prevalent.
Well, that just didn't look like a hit where you lost your wind. You know, as you mentioned at the time, it was up high, and you know, you hate to see on that type of play a guy injured, particularly a key player like that. We're hoping that we'd love to see him today, but hopefully this isn't a thing that lingers with him throughout the season.
And now there's whistle on the play.
Timeout. Drake, their first timeout.
All right, so Drake uses a timeout. They're first here in the second half. We'll be back after these words from your local stations. There's the backup quarterback, Seeger, who replaced Piatkowski. Shaken up in the second quarter. He's not returned. And here come the blitz off the corner. Seeger flips it and incomplete. And he takes a shot inside the 10-yard line. That time blitz coming off the corner as they sent Fuller off the corner.
Earlier on the field, the pass was incomplete.
Yeah, they let that play run a little bit after what looked like it was a forward
Please
pass.
reset the game clock to 12 minutes, 10 seconds. 12-10.
But I think it's clear here in this third quarter that the Bobcat defense, and maybe it's because you got a backup quarterback, but they are dialing up the pressure, bringing more guys, and so far on both possessions they've really had Drake pretty well bottled up.
Jansen back to kick. Elvis Akpla standing at his 40-yard line. And this one almost blocked. Now Akpla this time calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 38-yard line.
Little better decision that time for Elvis.
Let's go down below and join A.J. Donatoni.
Guys, you saw offensive lineman Ben Tuana'u limp off the field after that last possession. He actually just walked out to the locker room on crutches, could not put any weight on that left foot whatsoever. It's either an ankle or a knee, I wasn't told specifically, but it looks like Ben Tuana'u's day is definitely over. Guys.
Boy, that is a tough break for the Montana State offensive line. They just got him back.
Yeah,
that is a tough break.
Yeah, that definitely hurts, but we'll wish the best for them.
There's McGee, finds a wide open Everett Gilbert at the 45-yard line and a first down. That was a well-designed play. They ran Akpla deep, they ran Gilbert underneath them, and Gilbert was all alone.
Well, it's one where they've got that tight end. You see Beggar out here, and he draws the attention, brings up the safety, and leaves out wide open for Gilbert across the middle. A nice addition and progression off that tight end drag that they've been so successful with already this year.
Bobcats have a 5-receiver set now on first down from the 43. Here's McGee. Looks, now throws, has a man. Beggar at the 30. To the 25, Kyle Beggar to the 20, and a first down for Montana State. So Kyle Beggar from his tight end position, lined up in the slot, makes the catch and a first down.
Here we go. MSU's tight ends are always open. I think that's the team rule, and you can see it here. Denarius gets in trouble, pulls it down, and boy, right across the middle is Beggar. Look at him go, folks.
Well, the Bobcats opening up the playbook a little bit here in the third quarter. First down from the 21. Here's McGee. Looks right, throws left. And Gilbert inside the 10, 5, stretches for the goal line. And what's the call? Touchdown, Montana State.
Boy, that is a beautifully executed play on the middle screen there. This is just, boy, we're seeing Everett Gilbert has really taken off and shown us some of the flashes of brilliance that we saw last year with him. But this is just a beautiful middle screen, and he gets 2 key blocks upfield at the point of attack. I'm not sure who made them, but boy, it was great on the line of scrimmage, and credit that offensive line for making those things happen.
Very impressive drive for Montana State to start the third. Cunningham's extra point is up and through. 11:08 third quarter. Bobcats up the lead to 26-7 over Drake. Touchdown pass from Denarius McGee to Gilbert, ups the lead to 26-7 here in the third quarter. This one coming down, and once again, Drake takes the touchback. They'll have the ball from the 20-yard line.
Well, he has been doing a phenomenal job on the kickoff today. He has had them in the end zone. With the exception of the opening kickoff today, they've had no returns and really no real opportunity to bring it out. Well, there's the touchdown we talk about. Look at that lane just open up. He has to make one man miss at the end of that reception, but really credit that offensive line. You can see and run him in there to congratulate him, but they really set that play up beautifully.
So good after the catch. Oh, here comes the blitz again. They show it again as Groslock now backs off. First down from the 20. And Alexi comes off the corner and may have got a hand on it. Incomplete pass as Groslock came off the edge. And let's go down on the field. AJ?
Guys, earlier I reported that Michael Piakowski had the wind knocked out of him and that he was going to come back. Well, the trainers are still telling me the same thing, that he had the wind knocked out of him, but now they're saying he's not returning, he's in street clothes, he's done for the day, so now it's officially up to sophomore Cody Seeger to lead any sort of comeback for Drake. Guys?
All right, so we get the definitive answer on the status of their starting quarterback, and this thing sails out of bounds. And if it wasn't hard enough to generate offense with Piakowski under center, now they're going to have to do it with Seeger. the sophomore to try to get things done, and as the game wears on, you're starting to see total yards really starting to pile up in favor of the Bobcats. Mike, close to 400 yards now. Drake being held to just 177.
Yeah, so. And what's interesting is you say they're at 177 right now. They were at 187 at the end of the first half. So yeah, really things are going backwards for Drake.
And again, Seeger.
Well, there was just nothing there. And credit MSU. That's an all backup secondary that you saw that entire series, and there was just nothing there. They were still get some pressure up front, but very good coverage in the secondary by a whole group of backups. And I think that's one of the things that Coach Ash, I'm sure, wanted to do today is get those backups some time to play. Probably wasn't expecting this close a ball game, but I think it says a lot about their design that they're going to go ahead and get those guys the reps they need anyway, because those are the things that are going to pay dividends as the season progresses.
There's David Dash in the game. He signals for the fair catch. He's a freshman out of Fontana, California, in the game for the first time. And as you mentioned, Mike, Montana State now starting to substitute a little more liberally on both sides of the football. And I think with Drake being in the position they're in, with the second string quarterback and the dominance of the Montana State defense, this might be the time of the game where we will see some players get some extended looks today.
Yeah, I think the score is clearly and the win is still in jeopardy from a score standpoint. I think you can really feel that with that MSU defensive effort that it's going to be very difficult for Drake to mount a sustained comeback.
Boy, that was a great play defensively on the corner by Akeem Campbell, the defensive back. He steps outside of the play, turns it in, and then wraps up Davis for no gain on the play.
Hey, for the most part, you got to be really impressed with this D. They've gotten a good push up front, and as you say, Akeem Campbell comes up, and look at those big boys from the inside coming to finish that thing. That's great hustle, and that's what really you've got to have on the defensive front.
2nd and 11 now as McGee looks to throw. He's got some running room. Hauls it down and has a first down gain all the way to the 45-yard line inside Drake territory. And that's the one element that McGee brings as a quarterback. He's got great speed and quickness, and when he gets to the outside like that, he can run.
He does. Look, he's trying to go up top. You can see the play fake, but they're well covered on the outside, so he tucks it, and here makes a pretty good decision. We see him on a few occasions where he's up, down, and am I going to run or pass? That time, good decision to tuck it away, get upfield, get the first down, get out of bounds.
Ball at the 45 as Beggar goes in motion. And Davis, he's been the workhorse today, still on his feet and down close to another first down. Maybe a half a yard short. It looked like he was going to get wrapped up and then broke through for 9 yards.
Another great run, and we've been talking about him all day, but hey, someone that deserves some props here is number 71, Jesse Hoffman, in at right guard for Ben Ta'anu. Watch him get upfield and keep driving that man. The man is engaged. He made the block to get him the extra 5 yards.
And while we were away, Davis with a huge run all the way inside the 10-yard line. Let's take a look at it again, and you'll see this is just a little toss play, toss sweep. And then Davis, what a great move there as he puts on Nick Cheney and then takes it down inside the 10.
Boy, and I think we're going to get
out of bounds, number 27, defense.
Yeah, that was, we just given Akeem Campbell a bunch of credit, then you make that one, but that's a tough one because Davis is doing the tightrope over on that sideline, and as a defensive player, you can't slow up and expect him to go outside that line. You've got to play it like he's trying to get in the end zone. So I don't have to say, tough call from the defensive side of football. He had stepped out of bounds. He wasn't out of bounds when he hit him. We don't hear the whistle up here, but I'm going to say we picked up a few cheap ones there.
1st and goal right from the 10-yard line. Here's Davis, 5, touchdown Montana State. Lorenzo Davis into the end zone for the score. And now the Bobcats are starting to pull away against the Drake Bulldogs.
Well, you can really feel the momentum shift these last couple drives. And really, if you go back, it starts with the play of Alexei Groselak when we came out in the second half, and he made the big forced fumble to start things off, and really ever since then it has been all MSU.
Well, this game turns so quickly.
Timeout. Officials timeout.
As there's an official timeout on the field. This was a close game in 2 quarters at 16-7, but in 6 minutes of the second half, the complexion of the game, Mike, has completely changed.
Yeah, here we get another look at the touchdown. They're just opening up a huge seam there. I mean, that's just a great job up front by that entire group of offensive linemen. Hey, credit those guys. Give them a lot of props because we got 2 backup guards that have really stepped up, and they just blew open a big hole.
Okay, so Cunningham on to attempt the extra point. And the kick is up and blocked. So no good on the point after attempt. And the score remains 32-7 in favor of Montana State. So let's take a look at the block here as the Bulldogs come up with a nice defensive play.
Well, you can just see the pressure comes rolling through there. Both. That's 90. We've been calling his name all day. He has been doing a great job out there. That's John Sawhill, defensive tackle for Drake. So see, watch this open up here in the middle. It just gives a great cutback seam as this thing opens up, and the O-lineman blow it wide open. See him driving that backer down across, and then it's just up to Davis at that point.
I think the physicality of Montana State, Mike, really starting to pay off now as you look at the scoring drive and wearing down a Drake team that starting to feel it, I think, a little bit here in the third quarter.
Well, I think so, and you know, as much as you go out there and play hard, it just there's a natural letdown when you feel it's starting to slip away, and that's when things can get away from you, and you have the feeling right now that if they can't come up with a little something offensively on this drive, that it could be over for them today.
And this one is finally going to be returned by Mosier, and Mosier hit just over the 20 and dragged back. So good kick coverage for Montana State. AJ?
Guys, it was a solid 3-and-out for the MSU defense on that last drive. Noah Joseph, one of the orchestrators of the D, the catch. He played for Rob Ash in the late 90s at Drake, and here's what he had to say as to why so many players become successful coaches under Coach Ash.
If you look through the history and kind of the Rob Ash coaching history, he really makes it accessible for former players that want to coach to get into the profession.
So the longevity of Coach Ash and bringing all those assistants along with him, and of course,
well,
3 of them on this current staff are from Drake.
And we talked about it, in a little bit of a joking fashion, that there were going to be some CEOs, CFOs coming out of Drake. But hey, credit Coach Ash, when you've got smart kids like that, good solid minds that have that interest in football, hey, they're going to be great football coaches. Don't think people often think that this football coaching is for, your stereotypical football players, but these guys are smart. They're guys that would be successful in any field out there. This is just the profession that they have chose.
And as the years progress, you become a mentor to so many young coaches, and he's certainly done that. So first down now for Drake, and another big hit leveled on the running back, and you'll see it again as Kostek took a pretty big shot.
Just a give over the left side for Kostek. Trammell steps up, forces it back in, just runs into, looked like 2 Bobcats. I couldn't get the number.
Well, and this is going to be recovered, and yeah, touchdown Montana State. As Seeger got all kinds of pressure.
I think that's big Zach Minner that picked that one up. Let us take a look. Yeah, it looks like at 96. Zach Minner, defensive tackle, 6'1", 265 out of Glendale, Arizona. There you see the handoff. They put it around. Nothing doing. This is all on his own. Knocks it free, takes it in the end zone. Yeah, that's right.
That's an unassisted touchdown, right?
That was me.
So Cunningham on now, 38-7. And make it 39-7 as the extra point is good. Comes with 8:29 to go in the third quarter. Yeah, that's when you do it all, man. You cause the fumble, you recover the fumble, you score the touchdown.
Don't need any help.
No.
I'm going to go get myself some stats.
You know the defensive pressure in this They literally come at Drake every way imaginable.
Well, you can see it. He just takes an outside move, then a nice little inside move, gets that hand up. And this guy is a people that know a lot about Bobcat football are very excited about this guy. 6'1", 265, but extremely athletic. He can run and he can jump. You hear stories about him dunking the basketball, but this is a guy that's going to go out and make a lot of plays. Would be on the field a heck of a lot, but hey, you got Dan Ogden and Jason D'Alba in there. Those are a couple of no slouches. And, you know, MSU is fortunate. We're seeing some of those guys emerge this year that were caught. You know, Dustin O'Connell, we talked about the sack earlier. He was stuck behind a pretty good player that was here for a while, some kid named Fletcher. I think he doesn't play here anymore because I think he's playing on Sundays. But, you know, those kids, it's tough to be patient when you're behind players like that. But, boy, when you get your opportunity like Minter just did, he made the most.
All right, so the Bobcats kick away here as Mosier takes the ball, and again, good coverage by Montana State up over the 20-yard line.
Well, that's going to be right about the 22, wherever they started the previous drive.
Still 8 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Boy, she's got to extend those elbows, get that chest down.
Hey,
come on.
I give her credit.
Her hair's down there, Chris, but she's got to get the rest of the body.
I think that's tough work. The guys in the truck are saying no, but you know what?
All right, well,
I give her credit.
That's 39 of them.
She's got to do 39 of those.
I couldn't do 39 of them in a week.
I couldn't do 39 in a career. 39-7 our score now as Bobcats have completely broken this game open. New running back in for Drake. He gets the call. That's Trey Morse. Montana State with 23 unanswered points, and it came in less than 7 minutes of the third quarter, Mike.
Yeah, it was all triggered by that defense. We talked about that first forced fumble, but they really haven't moved outside of it, with the exception of these last couple plays. Drake has been pinned up and hasn't been able to get anything going on offense.
And John Ledette is back in the game. He was so far into the backfield when he turned that play that they simply ran up underneath him, but good job by Ledette. There's Morse, new running back out of Elmo, Texas. Just a sophomore.
Well, really, we're seeing, you know, we haven't seen 2 running plays in a row from those guys, and I think that maybe at this they're going to get that established. It looks like they are again. We'll see it again today.
There's Alexi Grosselak, open field tackle, and just smothers Morse.
You gotta love the way this kid plays linebacker. He's so good at, his butt is down and his shoulders are square to the line of scrimmage, and that's what allows him to really attack. As he widens to that sideline, he always has the ability to strike upfield.
3rd and 6 now from the 39. Seeger, the backup, replacing Piatkowski, who was out of the game, shaken up in the second quarter. Seeger looks to pass, now flips it over the middle to Morse, who's got a first down up near midfield. Fuller brings him down right at the 50-yard line, but a nice job for the Bulldogs to move the chains here.
You can see we saw a little bit of this when they were having success in the first half, when they ran everybody out in the first half. It was Pat Cashmore that we saw coming over the middle. Now that they've gone to Trey Morse, another good job of recognizing that the Cats are running out of that middle.
Very short gain on the play.
Chris Wilson now in at that corner doing a good job.
Looks like he's pointing at his left shoulder.
Officials timeout.
And Playtech was the receiver, but
I think watch Chris comes here and it's just out here to your left side of your screen. He drives up hard on this, makes, like, there was a heck of a collision there, but it does look like he hit that shoulder. Hopefully, just hope that's a stinger and something that he can pop back up from.
Tough for Chris Wilson because he just got into the game and now goes down with the injury. So we'll wait and sort that out. And look at the Big Sky this week. Of course, the big game comes up later today. Montana in Cheney to take on Eastern Washington. The Grizz stubbing their toe against Cal Poly last week. That should be a whale of a football game. Number 6 against number 18.
Yeah, you've got to think that the Grizz, they got to come back and forget that loss at Cal Poly, because I really think, and If you look at that media poll, there was one vote that Eastern Washington might be #1. I'm not going to say who that vote was, but it was in this booth, and it wasn't you, Chris. So I think this is going to be the biggest challenge that the Grizzlies are going to have early on, and coming off that loss, they've really got to look inside and see how they're going to respond.
2nd and 6 for the Bulldogs. More pressure, incomplete pass. Well, just to follow up on that, of course, Coach Pflugrad in his first year with Montana. Not uncommon for a Montana coach to start their career with a loss. You remember Joe Glenn lost his first game. Bobby Houck lost to North Dakota State, so it's happening.
And I can tell you, being in Missoula, they were ready to fire them all that first week, you know. But fortunately, they gave both those guys a second chance, and boy, did they live up to their billing. You know, Joe Glenn getting the national championship, Bobby going back and playing for 3. So it can take a little while when you get a new staff.
Boy, Seeger absolutely took a huge hit after he pitched the football.
Well, here's Schreibus going up. He's got to read that in. He made the right read, but he suffered the consequences. I'm not sure we're going to see another look at it. Well, I didn't see anything about that.
Personal foul, late hit, tackling the opponent high, number 49 of the defense. 15 yards to the end of the run, first down.
So they do call Schreibis.
These guys, they're professionals, but I really disagree with that call, because you've got a situation there. That quarterback has made himself a runner. He's coming down the line of scrimmage. That end is his job is at a situation there. That quarterback has made himself a runner. He's coming down the line of scrimmage. That end is his job is to attack him and force the pitch, and that's exactly what he did.
Seeger flips it out there and complete. Now, with the pressure that Montana State's bringing on defense in the second half, really the way to counter that is what they're doing, is that quick two-step, get rid of the football. That's the only way they're going to be able to throw effectively, because the pocket completely collapses when he stays back there more than a couple seconds.
Yeah, I think both quarterbacks we've seen today for Drake do a good job of getting the ball out on time.
This time he just throws it away, but you can see that the offensive philosophy now for Drake is just get the ball, get rid of it as quick as you can, flip it out to your receivers, and see if you can create a little something on the corner. So incomplete pass brings up 3rd and 5.
And they've got some guys out there that have been a load. I mean, you get Steve Playtech, 6'2", 235-pound, number 7 for them. He's a 2-time All-Pioneer League performer, and he's a big guy out there in that open field, not your typical slot receiver.
They're going to run a little option here. They get to the outside, and that's going to should be good enough for the first down. That time, the option nicely executed, and on the receiving end was Cashmore.
You're going to see the option out here, and really MSU didn't have anybody up for their pitch. The corner had been taken deep off the ball, and they were lucky to get up and recognize that at all after Andrews was taken deep.
Here's Seeger, looks into the end zone, and just out of the outstretched arms, intended for Playtech, who was back there in the corner, almost hooked up for the touchdown.
Well, Playtech is, I think we're finding out just what a J-back does.
A little bit of everything.
He gets himself real big in the offseason, and he lines up outside the box where you're not normally going to see a guy of that size, and catches balls and makes plays.
So 2nd and 10 from the 16. Seeger, quarterback draws, got some running room. And Seeger inside the 15. Now that was shut down quickly. Looked like he might have had some extra yardage there, but closed down quickly.
Yeah, Grosselak does a good job of pressuring this side and allowing Bignell to come and close from the middle. Hey, those are two guys that are really starting to get a feel for each other and working very well together.
3rd and 6 from the 13. Under 6 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Seeger now looks over to the sideline to get the play. And Seeger now throws out here to his left, and that's caught by Holstein inside the 10 and close to the first down. And by the spot of the football, it looks like they may have enough for the first down.
Yeah, it looks good to see. 42 Bignell here playing in the middle for MSU.
So it is indeed a first down, 1st and goal from the 6. On the reception by Hohenstein. He's had a big game today.
Yes, he has.
They run the option to Cashmore. Cashmore into the end zone for the touchdown. And the Bulldogs put up 6 more on the scoreboard.
Yeah, just a nice job of running the option into the short side of the field, forcing guys to make a commitment. That's what the option does, is you've got to make sure that you're solid assignment football. And so far on this drive, MSU has not had an answer to that pitch. They've taken away the quarterback inside, but they just haven't had an answer for the pitch on the outside.
Jansen on for the PAT. And the kick is up and through. So with 4:40 to go in the 3rd quarter, Drake scores for the 2nd time this afternoon. It's now a 39-14 game.
Well, here as we look at it, you can see Seegers gets out. He's going to come out when we watch the replay. He's going to bring this ball out to his left side, short side of the field. He gets a commitment from the dead at the end, and just there's nobody home on pitch for MSU.
You know, just to show you how difficult it is for Drake today, you look at the numbers for this Bobcat defense, and we talked a little bit about it in the Big Sky. Montana State, #1 in scoring defense, #1 in rushing defense, and #2 in total defense. So this is what Drake's trying to move against.
Yeah,
that was a very nice drive. 14 plays, 76 yards. Cashmore finishes off with the 6-yard run, and it's now 39-14.
And you can see on that last look, we got a great shot, great camera work there, showing that it was, we've talked about him all day catching the ball. Pointstein just did a nice job of driving that corner upfield. He had James Andrew deep in the end zone, and that's why he was the pitch guy, but he just couldn't get out of the grasp of Dan Hohenstein. 6'5", 223-pound freshman, having a big day today.
So the kick is going to angle coming down at the 30-yard line. That's fielded by Davis. And a bright spot for Montana State, of course, has been that man right there, Lorenzo Davis, who's had some big numbers today.
Wow,
Mike.
we're going to see some returns, but Lorenzo Davis has been all over today. He's got, looking at 19 carries for 153 yards so far, and that's not said. Now we see him in the return game. He's also got a couple of receptions, I believe, maybe not. Just seems like he's been everywhere, Chris.
There's his numbers. And a fumble, ball on the ground, and it looks like Drake has recovered. So the turnovers continue, a big pile at the 38-yard line. It sure looked to me like Drake came up with the football, and they signal they do, and yes, they do.
Well, right now we're seeing, you and I were talking about it. I probably got ahead of myself, saying you could really feel this thing turn the other way, but that just looks like they never really had just a poor exchange that time.
Well, Cody Kemp was in a
never
quarterback.
really got the ball to Kerry Sloan. Those two, I'm not sure how much they've been working together, but the first time that they were in together in this ball game today, and boy, that is not finishing. That is not putting the, I think AJ described it as the foot on the neck in the pregame show.
So new quarterback, new running back, and tough exchange leads to the turnover. Here's Seeger, who fires out here, and this one incomplete.
It's a play by Seegers. I always enjoy quarterbacks that have the poise to throw the ball away. I think it's one of the hardest things that they're called on to do. You know, they're out there to make plays and try and move the ball up the field. But when there's nothing there, the smart quarterbacks, the best quarterbacks, are willing to throw that thing out, not give up the sack, not give up a chance of a change of possession on the interception. Just get that thing out, throw it in the bleachers if you have to.
2nd and 10 from the 38. Seeger rolls out to his left, feeling pressure, and that's incomplete, intended for Playtech at the 35-yard line.
Well, the pressure was there. It was Ogden and Ledette on the outside. They faked the ball away and tried to get to fool them inside and open up. Just, he didn't have any time to make a play on the corner.
Incomplete pass brings up 3rd down. Seeger now gets the call from the sideline. Steps up into the pocket, now throws complete to Cashmore. And Cashmore keeping those feet going. That's a first down as he takes it to the 26-yard line.
Well, the Bobcats have done so many positive things, but this is one play where they've been caught several times a day. Those backers are taking a really deep drop in the middle, all three of them. And hey, credit Drake's offense. They've recognized that and picked up several key first downs. Just that little back out of the backfield, whether it's Cashmore or Morse, has been a very effective play for him.
Cashmore has been the workhorse today on first down. Seeger now throws it out to his left. That's caught and immediately taken down. And Nick Rosa with the catch, but in coverage was Sean Gourds.
Sean Gourds is one of several corners we've seen here. You can see good throw, good catch, drives up, limits them to a gain of 5 yards.
Second down, Cashmore gets the corner and a first down inside the 15 to the 10. And driven out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. And Gourds again with the play as he knocks it out of bounds. Good hard running by Cashmore.
From the end zone, we'll see the play develop to our left side here. But look at Dan Ogden is on the end and he just can't break free. He was looking for a holding call there, but I'll tell you, Pat Cashmore does not look like he's covering much ground when he's step to step, but he is certainly picking up the yards he needs.
Seeger looks into the end zone, now dances away from pressure, still looking, now keeps the football to the 5, and Seeger stretching for the end zone, touchdown, Drake. Seeger with a great second effort at the 5, stretches out and finds the end zone, and back-to-back touchdowns for the Bulldogs, and yeah, their fans are pretty happy about it.
Yeah, boy, I don't blame them. This is just a play. The pocket breaks down. The Bobcats lose contain when he breaks the rush, but hey, credit that backup quarterback. He has been very game today, and he just went out and made that play with his feet.
Extra point on its way, and it's good. So Jansen puts it through, and it's now 39-21. So put your coaching hat on. Do we bring the starters?
Well, I'm holding the press here and say, Coach, hey, maybe we got a few too many bodies here. You can see the pocket breaks down. Seegers gets on the outside. He's directing traffic, and then he just decides to take this himself. There's 3 Bobcat defenders there, but he finds his way into the end zone.
See a kid that's kind of growing with confidence since coming into the game. He kind of looked like a deer in the headlights for a while, but now he's engineered a couple of decent drives for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and got his team right back in this thing. All of a sudden you feel that momentum. Boy, it's not shifted. I mean, it's a landslide back over to Drake. And, you know, that's the danger of putting maybe some guys in too early, is that not that they're not capable players, but you almost send a message to your team. All right, hey, we got this one in the bag. Let's go get some people some reps, and that intensity falls out a little bit. But the Bobcats, we'll see how they come here. If they do come with Kemp again after we had a little trouble on that last exchange, which led, you know, another Bobcat turnover, which led to a score.
So Drake definitely surviving the Montana State momentum. Little pooch kick coming down now. That hits at the 40. And oh man, Drake almost recovered that.
Boy, very, very fortunate for MSU. Nice job by Drake. They executed very well. That front row had no idea where this ball went. You can see the front row comes back. No one's turning their head.
That's a live ball.
Boy, just by the luck of the bounce that comes down. And boy, credit number 59 for MSU, Tanner Ripley, making a heads-up play to go up and separate that Drake defender from the football.
All right, so Cody Kemp does stay on at quarterback, but Davis returns as the running back. So Renzo Davis comes back into the game. Cody Kemp stays in the game. Deshaun Thomason at wide receiver. And it's first down from the 39. The give is to Davis, up over the 40 to the 45. Good hard running by Davis. 6 more for the day.
Yeah, Davis is just doing a great job.
He's having a monster game, 152 yards before that carry with a couple of touchdowns. And he just keeps adding to it.
Coach Ash was asked this week at the press conference, hey, is Davis your guy? He says, well, I think he's starting to be, and is he an every down back? Yeah, we think he is. Do we want him to have 25 carries? Probably not. I think he's approaching that number today. I think this is probably 21 or 22. But the last thing that Coach Ash said at the end of that question was, if he has to have more carries than that, or that's the amount of carries that he's got to have to go win a ball game, we're going to give him the ball.
Yeah, good run here. Close to a first down. He's going to be a yard short.
Boy, you see him finish on that play. That was a good job. He just brought the action to number 28, Michael LaHart.
Well, if you're going to tackle him, you're going to feel it, right? 3rd and 2 from the 47. Kempt out of the gun, looks to pass, throws it out here, and that's an easy call to make. Pass interference on LaHart as he was out there banging away on the wide receiver long before the ball got there.
Yeah, you can see just a little bit early on his break. You can see he's out there in coverage. We just talked about the hit that he took, and now we're going to see him in coverage. Ball comes out, Kemp delivers it well. He's just there a little early.
Defense, number 28.
So LaHart,
automatic first down.
Flagged for the pass interference on Julius Lloyd, automatic first down. And that'll spot the football at the 41-yard line. Spotted the foul call. Fresh set of downs for Montana State in a 39-21 game. Kempt in at quarterback. Here's Cody Kirk, the freshman. He gets the corner, and he's close to a first down.
Yeah, I think the second time we've seen Cody get the ball today, but really that time a nice seal block on the outside. Look at where he's able to just, I think that's, boy, I didn't catch the number, and then a nice block from Lloyd. Cody's able to turn it up, power it, and 10 more yards, or just short thereof, with about 9.5. So.
Well, that was the backup, Jesse Hoffman, that made that block that sprung him to the outside. So just short, 2nd and 1. Kirk will get the ball. Kemp keeps it. Tries to break a tackle, and he'll be very close to the first down. They're going to spot it right at the 31, so he's right at the marker. Well, Coach Creighton has been he's been a pretty busy guy over there.
Boy, I want to be the guy selling him his blood pressure medicine because, hey, it has been from start to finish today.
There's a little smile.
This guy's got great enthusiasm, and I personally love that kind of coach that's going to get out there and mix it up. And hey, as a player, you know your coach is fighting. There's no doubt about that. You better be doing your part.
Say he's just short of the first down. Whistles now.
Timeout, Montana State.
That's a timeout for Montana State. It's their second of the half. Comes with 16 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Obviously didn't like what they saw.
First timeout.
First timeout from.
Turned on one call, really.
Back of the end zone. Called them out of bounds.
That MSU very well could have won, if not should have won.
Here's Kirk. He's got a first down and then some. Still on his feet inside the 20 to the 15 to the 10-yard line. Hey, Cody Kirk. How about that, huh?
I love to see that kid. He's one of the hardest working. I've said it before, but this is just a nice guy, and he's doing what Cody does. You're not going to see a bunch of real slick moves, but he'll give you that leg, and you're not going to bring him down with just one guy very often. Just one of the strongest players, already breaking back records in the lifting categories as a redshirt freshman.
3 rushes, 21 yards. I'm not real good at math, but that's 7 yards a carry, and that's pretty good. End of 3 quarters, Montana State leads at 39-21. Back after these words from your local stations. 1st and goal from the 11. Cody Kempt in at quarterback, gives to Kirk. Kirk at the 5, breaking tackles, close to the end zone. Looks to be about a foot short. Great effort by Cody Kirk as he took it inside the 10. And almost got it into the end zone.
Yeah, that was very close. Finished the run, but just came up just a little bit short. But watch not only Cody Kirk, this is Mike Person coming out and pulling it. Just a great pull to separate that hole. And then Cody, you got Dennehy there with him and comes up just to look about the length of the football. Or well, they're going to mark it a little bit more than that, but he is inside the 1. Let's see if they let him cap this thing off.
All right, Jason D'Alba in the backfield. Now they start the clock. Kirk remains as the eye back, and yeah, you got to give him a chance to get this in, right?
Yeah, it's a couple of good runs. I'm pretty sure they're not giving it to Dialba.
Kirk indeed gets the call. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage, will not get there. Nice job by the Bulldog defense. They got good penetration in that defensive line, got the surge and kept Cody from getting in.
They really did. They've been good all up front. Nose guard, Nowitzki, defensive end Taylor. Look, they've got another nose guard in there, but just there is nothing there.
Look like
backers coming up strong. It's like they couldn't get all the numbers, but Seth Hedman was the man that made the initial hit.
So 2nd and goal now. And Kirk gets the call again, leaps over one tackler, but then wrapped up and brought back for a 5-yard loss. So once again, outstanding penetration for the Bulldog defense, and Cody with no chance.
There's no quit in this group. Yeah, they got penetration there at the guard center spot gap, and then Cody was just trying to hold on tough, particularly down the goal line. You have to get yourself up in the air like that. Just make yourself a big flying target.
3rd and 5 from the 5. Kemp out of the shotgun, looks left, rolling, now throws to the back of the end zone, and that's a touchdown for Montana State. Deshaun Thomas all alone in the back of the end zone. 6 more for the Bobcat offense.
Hey, there's a guy that you're happy to see having success. Deshaun Thomas came in here as a true freshman and just did great things. Before he could finish out, had the knee injury. Last year was back, but wasn't quite the same. And you're just hoping that he can return to that form. And boy, he sure looked like he's ready to get there with that play.
So Cunningham on to attempt the extra point. Little bad communication there, and it's blocked again. Oh, that just looked ugly from the get-go.
Well, yeah, that's 3 missed extra points in the last 2 games, and that's just unacceptable.
45-21 our score after the Cody Kemp to Deshaun Thomas touchdown. It's the mixed extra point. It looked like they just never got on the same page right from the snap.
Boy, it looks like number 90, Josh Sawhill was right over center, and he just had Garcia buckled over backwards, and they just can't get that penetration. They got to get. I don't want to snap it back there if I got that guy breathing down my neck either.
9 plays, 61 yards. Cody Kemp to Deshaun Thomas for the touchdown. 45 points this afternoon for this Bobcat offense. And Cunningham set to kick it away from the 35. This one coming down at the 5-yard line and goes out of bounds. So the Bulldogs will get good field position as they take over. Nice play here, Mike.
Yeah, here we see Cody just rolls out, and the forgotten man, Deshaun Thomas,
40-yard line,
makes the play wide open in the end zone.
He had an outstanding freshman year. I was having one of the great years ever in the history of Montana State for a freshman wide receiver, and then he had the terrible injury, I believe, in the Northern Arizona game in Flagstaff, and hurt the knee. Came back last year, never seemed to be at 100%, and then you had this influx of all these quality receivers, and it's been really hard for him to get back on the field and find a lot of playing time. I mean, he went from the go-to guy. There's a good run there, but he went from being the go-to guy in the Bobcat offense to now fighting for some playing time.
Yeah, and you can see it's as you said, it's going to be tough to climb back in there with the talented group of kids that came in, but I think he's going to get it done. He's going to make big plays for him. He's shown us he is a playmaker.
First down from the 48-yard line as Seeger rolls right. And Seeger, he's hit by 3 different players. Boy, he took a couple of big shots. Schreibeis was in on that play. You're going to see him just get sandwiched in the backfield.
Boy, it is. You've got Schreibeis turns it back in, and then you've got they're coming. It looks like Gale from the backside, all the way from the backside to put the stick on there.
So the incomplete pass will bring up 2nd down. Ball's at the 48-yard line of Montana State, still with nearly 13 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah, this thing's far from over. We got a lot of football. I was ready to tuck this one away and pull off the headset, head back on the road. But there's no quit in this Drake bunch.
A little screen pass executed pretty well, taken down to the 45-yard line as Joe Orlando makes the reception down to the 44. It's going to bring up third and about 5.
Orlando comes into the game as their leading receiver, but really haven't called his name too much today.
3rd and 7 from the 45. Seeger looks at. We need to get the camera guys to get a shot of these quarterbacks flashing signals. It's pretty well choreographed.
I don't know if those. I thought those were traffic cops.
3rd and 7. Seeger now is going to get wrapped up and thrown down for a loss.
Ogden. Not much to say about this. There's nothing tricky about it. That's a power rush. He beats his guy to the outside, and there's just no catching him. That's a great job by, those inside sacks. Those sacks from those tackles are kind of hard to come by, but Dan is always generating pressure up the middle for MSU.
All right, so Drake will be forced to kick it away as Jansen comes on. He'll stand at his 40-yard line. David Dash is back to receive. This angle's for the sideline. They let it hit, and it's down inside the 5. So great job for Drake. 45-21 our score, all Montana State here in the second half. Back after these words from your local stations. Right in the shadow of their end zone, 1st and 10 from the 4-yard line. Cody Kemp back at quarterback for Montana State, lines up under center. Try to get some breathing room here. And some good running up over the 10-yard line. That's going to be close to a first down. Let's go down on the field and join A.J. Donatoni.
I thought I squeezed this in here, but now we're in the 4th quarter. Drake has a player on the team named Steve Platek. We've seen him a lot today. He's listed as JB on the roster sheet. That stands for J-back. That's something I've never heard of. I don't know about you or Mike in all your years of watching football, but the J-back, according to the coaching staff, is someone that splits between fullback, wide receiver, and tight end duties. He's kind of a hybrid of sort. He does all that thing, and according to the coaches, the J doesn't stand for anything, and as far as they know, they are the only team in America that employs a J-back. Guys?
All right, little one-of-a-kind there as Kurt gets whacked in the backfield on a 2nd and 3. Well, now we know what the J-back is, pretty much a guy they put all over the field, right?
Yeah, I wonder what they're going to call number 51, Seth Hedman, on that. He just made a great play. I'd call him a linebacker, but they may have a different letter for him. Just a really nice stop on Cody Kirk.
Brings up 3rd and 3. Now Cody's going to drop back, now come back and line up under center as they change the play. Now he's going to go into the shotgun. Stands at his 5-yard line. Kemp pulls the ball down, looks for some running room, wrapped up at the 10. And that's going to be a 4th down as Kemp had nowhere to go, so just tucks the football down. And
yeah, there's nothing upfield, and he comes in here, and then a nice job of closing that thing out. David Witzikitz. Boy, wow. I'm still, help me, Chris.
I'm going to let you get out of this one on your own.
Number 58, the nose guard. First name David, second name impronounceable.
So Montana State will kick it away on 4th and 5. Good high kick coming down at midfield. Fair catch is signaled and made. So the Bobcats go 3 and out, kick it away. I think that might have been the first punt of the afternoon for Montana State. Am I right on that?
That's the first one I recall. On our stat sheets, they're showing a few in the first half.
Rory Perez.
Roy Perez is a guy, and you see it again there. It's noted of all his 6 punts coming in today, he had allowed return yardage of -3. The only reason that they had one that was actually winning the end zone was a touchback, which has prevented him from just having phenomenal numbers in the net punting.
So Drake has the football in excellent field position from the 48. First down. Are you excited for Big Sky football to start next week?
Oh yeah, it's been a long time coming. It's nice getting this stuff not really preseason, but that's almost how you feel about it in the Big Sky, because really you've got to go out, and even though you've got to be that automatic qualifier, you've got to really think you've got to win this thing to get into the playoffs.
You know, when you talk about the Big Sky and you point towards the season, you know, you have the familiar cast of teams that you assume are going to be there. The Montana, Weber State, Montana State, Eastern Washington, to some degree Northern Arizona. But I think the storyline this year in the Big Sky, Mike, might be the emergence of the lower level teams that have typically been down that are starting to be a little more competitive. I'm talking about Sacramento State. I think they're more competitive. Northern Colorado, up and coming, more competitive. Idaho State still down, but they're showing they can be a little more competitive. So I think
there's your traffic cop, sir. Yep. Good cop, bad cop.
If you're Seeger, you just got to make sure you're watching the right guy.
Well, those guys, they look pretty similar. Huh? You got to give one of those guys maybe some longer hair after you cover the. There's got to be some way to distinguish.
2nd and 8. I'd say
nothing doing in the middle there, but Chris, you're right, and I really think I agree with you on some of those teams that are perceived to be second-tier teams. They're going to make the difference this year, because those head-to-head matchups are going to play out, and the good teams are going to win those. But there's going to be some surprises where they're knocking off those games that you think that you kind of got in the bag, or they're the should wins. They're not there.
Well, I think so. I think so, and I think the best example of that was that 4 overtime game that Weber was involved in. Now they did win, but they could have easily lost that game. Those are the kind of games you can't look at anymore and say, okay, that's a W, that's a W. I think that and Sacramento State's another team that I think are going to surprise some people. I think they're better than how they were picked in the polls. So you really have to be careful if you're one of the elite teams in the Big Sky. You've got to bring it every week, or you're going to run the risk of being upset.
Great.
Yeah, there's no weekends off anymore.
8 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. Montana State leads big over Drake. We'll be right back. And 10 from the 42. Here's Seeger on the quarterback rollout. He's got a first down inside the 30. Flag coming in from way in the back, away from the play. So
yeah, and again, that's the umpire. So I'm guessing we're going to get a holding call against Drake.
Tom Frazier with the call.
Holding, number 14 offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Still 2nd down.
Drake stays on the road next week. They'll be at Valparaiso. Of course, the Bobcats are right here for their Big Sky Conference opener against Eastern Washington. What do you think of that red turf there?
Boy, I don't know.
What's the deal there?
I want to see what they're coming out for uniforms today. They're gonna come out with all red helmets, and maybe some white numbers. Be like,
we couldn't find them.
Guys in camo back there. I'd hate to be throwing the ball if I'm Andrew Sell today.
That game coming up a little bit later this afternoon. So 2nd and 13 from the 44. Here's Seeger, tries to throw the screen, but it's incomplete. Bounced it to Joey Orlando. And again, another big pop on the play by the Bobcat defense.
Earlier on the field, incomplete pass. 3rd down.
Yeah.
How about this continuing trend of FCS teams knocking off Division I schools? It irritates me to some degree when you hear people talk about what these gigantic upsets that I truly believe that they're not. A lot of them aren't.
No, I think that there's a very small separation from clearly from a lot of the lower divisions FBS teams and the teams that are at the top of the FCS.
Oh, that's a sensational catch, and they're going to give it to him now. Well short of the first down. Still going to be about 8 yards short, but that was a great catch out there, and not only made the catch, but able to bring it down. Drew Blackman gets the foot down. Watch how he gets his foot down, Mike, after the catch. Nope, just missed it. We'll see it again.
We're going to see it again here. Yeah, this is the 5-7.
Right there. Get that foot in.
Boy, yeah, that's a great play. And again, guys continuing to make plays, score a little bit lopsided, but guys are still out there doing it their best.
4th and 8, and Seeger's going to be taken down for a loss at the 45-yard line. And that's Caleb Schreibeis.
Boy, Schreibeis, Grosselak, Ogden, Minter. There was a lot of blue jerseys in on that play. As you can see, the pocket just collapses on that young sophomore Seegers. But here, upfield, it's Schreibeis, and you can see it on the twist stunt. Ogden's there, and they really open it up for Alexi to come in and make that first hit coming right up the middle of the. It's just, you know, well executed. When you run that X stunt with your 2 down linemen, bring the backer behind it, you're hoping to create enough confusion to give him an open look, and they sure did that time.
So Montana State takes over on downs. And that was a whole lot of running for not a lot of yards as Kerry Sloan gets stretched out all the way to the sideline. Maybe a couple on the play. We're talking about these FCS teams. How about James Madison going in and knocking off Virginia Tech, which was ranked, what, 13th in the country?
Yeah,
that's a surprise.
That is a surprise.
That's a surprise. But a lot of these other ones, not so much so, I don't think.
No, I would agree with you. That one's a little unusual, but some of there's a lot of those teams that, you know, I think wouldn't be competitive in the Big Sky. You can drop down that bottom tier, and they're just the football isn't there.
Sloan again gets the call. Well, you know, 15, 20 years ago, yeah, it never happened. And because there was a lot of separation between the 1AA and Division I. And when you did play a Division I, usually you took your lumps and got whacked pretty good. But more and more you're seeing the upper level FCS programs competing and beating many of the Division I programs.
I think you're seeing, you know, kids want to go play more. That whole idea of, boy, well, you know, I'm going to go work my way up, and hopefully when I'm a senior, I'll get a starting nod. There's a lot of kids that could go play at some of those bigger schools, but they don't want to wait that 3 years, and I don't blame them. No. It's a pretty short window.
Here's Cody Kemp, who fires out there, and that's just a beautiful play. And caught down there inside the 20-yard line. Oh, the big tight end from Billings West, Shane Robinson.
Shane Robinson again. Our producer Rip Cook says tight ends are always open here, and here you'll see another one. Comes across the formation, tucks the ball away, and it's nice to see those big guys in the open field, isn't it?
It's glad to see that he got all his talent from his mom. It showed up big there. First and 10.
Good to be making friends, Chris.
Oh, Doug will be happy to see that. Shane's a great kid. Get to see him sometimes during the off-season a little bit. He's a little bigger than when he was at West High. There's a fumble. Cody picks it up and falls forward for 2 or 3. It's funny how that works. You know, we send these guys off. You cover them in high school, and you say goodbye to them, and then you see them a year later, and you don't recognize them.
No, here's just a bad exchange. I don't think Cody was ready for the snap, but does a great job of picking it up and turning a negative into a positive. 3 yards on the carry.
He got 3 on the play, so 2nd and 7. We're now inside 5 minutes to go in this one. And this one decided a while back as Montana State will go to 2-1 with the victory today and put a big ribbon on the preseason. Sloan bounces off a tackle, now breaks another tackle. Kemp throws a block. Sloan finally brought down. Hey, Cody Kemp threw a pretty good block there.
Yeah, Cody did, and I think it was the next block that's going to draw all the laundry on that one. I think that was Deshaun Thomas, number 27, coming from the outside, trying to spring his quarterback, but unfortunately, I think that's going to be called a block in the back.
Yep, it'll go against the Bobcats. Now, the other factor when we were talking about the FCS, as you know, they've expanded to 20 teams in the postseason. And with the strength of the Big Sky Conference schedule, as we see the penalty, now you're looking at very real possibility of not getting 2, but maybe 3 teams from the Big Sky.
On the offense, number 4.
Well, I
10-yard penalty.
I think that the Big Sky in most years really would warrant that 3 teams when you're talking with the 20-game selection. But, you know, it's going to be difficult, and it's with the exception of Montana, who's been, you know, had the long history of being on top. Boy, those other teams really beat each other up from a record standpoint in the conference. So it's going to be hard to justify those numbers every year because, you know, that 8-3 is going to be a pretty good mark in the Big Sky.
Cody Kemp with a little shovel pass to Sloan, and Sloan gets it back close to the original line of scrimmage. Cody sold that one very nicely. Drop back and then the little shovel pass.
Yeah, you can see this Cody, boy, a cool customer, but the true freshman Sloan just looks a little bit uncomfortable out there right now, but boy, the effort is great. He's keeping every play going, but just a little bit assignment-wise, I don't think he's quite where he needs to be yet.
3rd and 10 from the 21. Well, you see a lot of that anymore where teams come to the line and then back off and reset the play. Here's a little screen. That's complete, but hit right at the 20-yard line and well short of the first down. That's John Ellis, makes his first catch of the afternoon.
Yeah, this is nicely done and well defended as well. You can see they get the little bubble, bringing him back inside here, delivered well, but watch how they converge to the football. Just a nice job, and I think that was number 40 was the first hit on there. That's Joshua Matthews, the DB out of McKinney, Texas. See, even Drake's got some Texas kids.
Cody kept on for a 36-yard field goal attempt. Plenty of leg into this one, and it's good. So that is the 5th field goal of the afternoon for Mr. Cunningham. He's had more success with field goals than PATs. He's had a couple of those blocked.
Well, yeah, it's been very unusual. It looks like there's going to be some discussion here. I don't see the flag, but
well, we have had our share of penalties today. Talking to Alex Terry in there, see what the call is.
It looks like it's going to be on them. I think the decision is going to be whether to take the points off the board. They haven't signaled what the penalty was yet. The referee over having a conversation with Coach Ash, and hopefully Coach Ash can get him straightened out.
Personal foul, roughing the snapper on the defense. That penalty is declined. The field goal, or excuse me, that penalty is accepted and will be assessed on the kickoff. The field goal is good.
All right, so 2:50 to go in this one. 4th quarter, Montana State with the field goal ups the leads to 48-21. Back after these words from your local stations. 2:50 to go in the 4th quarter. Jason Cunningham with that last field goal now sets the MSU record for the most field goals kicked in a single game. He has 5 and a long of 55. So what a day for Jason Cunningham as he continues to put up impressive numbers. And of course he set his own personal record by kicking a 55-yard field goal early in this game, and there it is. And that would have been good from 60.
Yeah, that really showed the leg that this young man has. And, you know, that's a weapon that the Bobcats are going to be required to bring out a lot as we get into the conference, but I was hoping he wasn't going to break that record today. I'd like to see a lot of those threes today. I think it's been a little bit of less than stellar execution on the part of MSU, that some of those 3-point weren't 6, and I think that's something that they're going to have to need to clean up this week to be more competitive against a strong Eastern Washington.
How do you break down the Big Sky as you look at it, Mike, this year?
Well, I think this game is really between starting it off tonight with Montana and Eastern Washington is really going to be key to how these things go. I think that it's the Grizzlies are clearly going to have a hard time at home. Going into Missoula is such a tough place that I would think that even if they were to stumble tonight, that they're still going to be right in the middle of the hunt. There's just too much tradition there. And I think that teams like MSU, NAU have got to go and prove that they belong in at that 1 spot or that 2 spot. I think both of them are probably very capable of getting there and doing it this year, but you know, they've got to prove it. There's a big dog on the block, and someone's got to go knock them off.
Yeah, and you know, you look nationally at the FCS now, and the teams at the top are so good. Talking about Villanova, which should have beat Temple in week 1, and James Madison, of course, which knocked off Virginia Tech. I don't know what that does to Boise State, but there's a lot of talk that because they won that game that that was going to affect, you know, Boise State's stature because with Virginia Tech losing. We'll see. Who's the 7th? You got to call that?
It's going to be tough.
Cody Kirk.
Well, look at my man, number 25, Cody Kirk out of Frenchtown. Not Missoula, Frenchtown, but man, this is a great kid. Came in, he made some really key, timely runs. for MSU.
He must have had good coaching when he was a child.
I think he struggled for a lot of years to overcome that 5th and 6th grade league that he was in, but thank God he's.
Weren't you coach of the year that year in the 5th grade little guy football?
I'll tell you, I could have been if I had a bunch of kids like him. I can remember him ripping off. We were on an 80-yard field, and he took one 70 yards, and he came back for the kickoff team, and I looked him in the face. I said, Cody, you got to get that thing in the end zone quicker. And he goes, I know, Coach, I'm sorry.
They can't think of anything more rewarding than someone that you coached as a elementary school age kid, and then you see him at the collegiate level. And you know, you're right. He reminds you so much of just the typical hard-nosed running back that tends to come out of Montana, that comes out of great high school programs.
Well, I think we've seen, so many of them over the years of guys, not just at the running back position, but at other positions as well, both here and at the University of Montana, that if you give some of those tough Montana kids a chance, like you said, they might, you might have to sign them or bring them in and not have any idea where you're going to get them on the field. They're going to figure it out for you, because they're going to come here and with their work ethic and their talent and their determination, they're going to find themselves a spot, and they're going to get themselves an opportunity, and Cody has done that, and so far so good for young Cody Kirk.
So many good high school programs in Montana that with outstanding coaches that coach these kids into the great players that they are before they ever get to this level. 3rd and 13 from the 17-yard line. 2:13 to go in this one. Seeger throws across the middle, and that is caught and then dropped. We're going to call incomplete pass. Boy, that's just another big-time swat there. And that was laid on by, we don't even have a number 94, do we?
Earlier on the field, the pass was incomplete, 4th down.
Yeah, that's just separating the man from the football, just like you're taught to do it. And you're right, Chris, we don't show a number 94 on our program, but I bet we do next week, because that is just a fantastic hit. Can't quite catch the name on the back of that jersey, but a great job there by clearly someone who is getting an opportunity to come in and get a little recognition, and I wish we knew that young man's name, because that was a great play.
Chris Music, we're told, is the name of that player. Fair catch signal for by Dash at the 40-yard line. So Montana State will have it one last time, content to run out the clock and leave the field with their 2nd win in 3 games. All right, you're the grader, the professor. How will you grade this Montana State team in these 3 preseason games where they win 2 and lose 1?
Well, I think you got to come out and give them high grades. They executed very well that first game. Probably an inferior team, but they did everything they needed to do and to move on to that next level. I thought, with the exception of a few plays, at Washington State, they looked great. I was very impressed. I think today you're going to have to look back as it was a little bit of a letdown, and it's sort of, this game is sort of a bridge between, Coach Ash mentioned, he said the openers, heck, everybody's up for the opener. That's right. Sky high. And boy, hey, we got a chance to go in and play a Pac-10 team. Well, you're sky high for that. Well, now you kind of got that little, it's Drake, obviously a good football team, but hey, they're not the Big Sky Conference. They're not part of your conference schedule. So I think there's a little bit of a tendency to overlook a game like this, and I think the Bobcats really played like they did. They weren't all there, and it was not their best performance today. But that said, it's a W, and you get down later in the year, and that's, if you continue to get better, that's exactly what it is, and that's what you needed to get out of it.
Blade Beckstead gets the call, backup running back. I haven't seen much of him this year. He got a lot of carries last year.
Yeah, he's coming back from that injury to his knee, and he's another kid. Boy, what a hard-nosed runner he is, and hopefully he'll get back to form. I don't think he's quite there yet, but if he can be, he'll be another important weapon for this Bobcat offense.
And I think important reps for Cody Kemp now as he goes virtually most of the second half. And good to get your backup quarterback as much playing time as you can when you can, because you never know when you'll need him down the road.
And you're gonna need him. And I'll tell you what, don't forget that Cody Kemp was just, that was a virtual dead heat in the fall and the spring. From a statistical standpoint, between he and Denarius McGee. He's a very good quarterback that's going to represent Montana State very well as they get in. With the meat of this season, you need two guys that can play back there.
Yeah, and that is the final play of the game, Becksteck's carry. So Montana State will improve to 2-1 on the season with their 48-21 victory over the Drake Bulldogs. We'll be back to wrap things up from Bobcat Stadium after these words from your local stations. You've been watching Bobcat Game Day.
Hey, Greg.
So well, in fact, he's already pocketed a Big Sky Defensive Player of the Week award, leads the team in tackles, and has registered an interception in 2.5